Should do this.
I pressed the button and we are live with, guys, I went out and I found a real life Cabal member, one of the leaders, really, Mason CardNAllGaming.
I am in Alex's basement. I'm down here amongst all the bulk. I'm trapped and fighting for my life, and was forced to do an interview. No, I wasn't. But how's everybody doing? Hello, folks. How we doing?
Guys, if you don't know who Mason is, I'm gonna let him give an introduction, but Mason's basically at the ground level, guys. He owns two different CardNAllGaming game stores, actual local LGSs. Yes, they're not dead in 2024. They're still very much alive, and that's why we have Mason on. We're gonna hear his perspective, because I'm sure it's a lot different than a lot of ours. A lot of the online sellers, a lot of us who are investors, or whatever it is we do. I think Mason's gonna have a lot different take and kind of give us a better idea of what's actually going on in this hobby on the the 99% level of all the casuals that walk into the store and all those types of people. So Mason, take it away, man. Tell us who you are and what you do and anything else you want.
Sure. Hey guys, Mason here. I have a little YouTube channel called CardNAllGaming. I like to do videos about things from the store level, distribution, the numbers, products coming down the pipeline, stuff like that. And then I do own two game stores in Louisville, Kentucky, named also CardNAllGaming, which is appropriate, I suppose. So yeah, that's me. That's what I do. That's how I got to be where I'm at. And me and Alex have had a couple back and forths before, but I don't know. I think we're a lot more alike than we should probably pretend like we are. I think it's a lot more closer to the common ground than what we like to say. So that's why I'm here. We're gonna sort it out. We're gonna talk through some stuff and see what the chat says, and see what we can do. See what we can get into tonight. Plenty of nuance to be had.
How serious those back and forths were, but no, man. Honestly, one thing I really remember is walking into Charlotte, I had to meet up with Mr. Walrus to pick up some passes that he got me getting the event. Yeah. And man, you were the first person that looked over and was like, Alex, what's up? And called me over and said, what's up? So no, it was really cool meeting you there and everything.
Yeah. It's fun. I love Charlotte and then Collecticons in general. They're always fun. They're always good to see everybody. A lot of people walk up and say, hey, you don't know me, but I know you. I watch your channel, whatever. And people will say stuff like, hey, I appreciate your videos and stuff. So that's always great to hear whenever you go out to the public and meet up with folks. So it's fun. And that's, it's kind of a thankless thing making YouTube content. You're either painted as a bad guy, or you're an idiot, or you're pandering for views, or you're clickbaiting, or, people actually do genuinely enjoy your content. One or the other. It's either one of those extremes. It's really crazy. But always at Collecticons, you always meet the people that are the true friends of the channel. And that's always awesome to see. So, it's always fun to meet up with people, for sure.
Well, so how much are those live shows like a part of your guys' business? Do you do a lot of Collecticons? Do you plan to this year or other shows?
No, yeah. I think I'd like to do more. We do some local stuff, but for the most part, something like Collecticon, there's just so far, have to travel so far to get to them. It's just not always worth it. Charlotte was the closest one to us last year, and even that was like 8-hour drive one way, and our van died getting there, so it was just a whole hassle. And you got to stay, pay a hotel, and then you have two people, so it's twice the expenses. Because I can't run a giant section by myself. To make it worth it, you have to bring enough stuff to make it, do a big sale. But you gotta have employees or someone there to help you. Like my partner came and helped us to sell stuff. So it's kind of hard. We do like to do smaller local shows, just local stuff in the state. But yeah, something like Collecticon, not a whole lot. I might do Chicago this year. That's probably the best one. I definitely want to do that. We might do some other ones, but just like go and do like by myself with maybe a backpack full of slabs and do it that way. I'm not going to go all out like we did for Charlotte. Even though
you guys, if you guys don't know Mason, they had like half a whole section. They had They had it set up to where you could almost like walk through their section. They had video games and sealed Game Boy and systems, and obviously the cards. It was a good section. You guys had one of the bigger and more. One of the biggest varieties, I guess, there at Collecticon, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's always my favorite part is in this business, we're not just cards, we're not just games, we're not just board games or D&D. We were all kinds of different stuff. So it's in the name, CardNAllGaming, right? So obviously cards are a huge part of the business, our main part of the business, but video games play a big role. Repairs, we do a lot of repairs for stuff. So that's a lot of good income there as well. So this day and age, you got to have all kinds of different ways to make money, and it really makes up for the slow times or when downtimes happen. So that's always good to have some variety and some different categories that you deal in, for sure.
So, man, I don't know how much you're going to remember, but let's try to go back. Let's try to go back all the way to the humble beginnings of CardNAllGaming.
Yeah.
So, what were you doing before this, and what led to this crazy idea to open the game store?
So it's kind of funny. I like telling a story. My kids got back, or when I met my wife, my kids, I inherited kids. I have stepkids, and they're of the age of where they're getting into Pokemon. And I have my old collection from when I was back growing up, and they thought that was cool. And then they got into it and they started playing. So we started taking them to events. We actually went one year up to Indianapolis, which was nationals they had at the time. And now they do like regional, bigger stuff. But we went up to Indy and they got stomped, but we had a good time, going in with all their friends and took a bunch of them up there and we had a good time. And then they inevitably got out of it, right? And then I'm stuck with all these cards that we had bought and for decks and bought a bunch of packs and boxes. Oh God, it was black and white era. So much money of just not a lot of value back. It's just like, what do I do with all this stuff? So I started going on eBay and selling stuff on eBay and trying to sell these cards and they sold pretty quickly, relatively, I thought. So I was like, man, okay. This is a nice little side gig, I started selling all my stuff from when I was growing up, which is, thinking back now, I kind of regret, but that's okay. And then I was like, okay, well, old stuff sells, new stuff sells. Why don't I just buy collections from people and start flipping them that way? So I started doing that as like a little side gig. And then I got with my business partner. He was doing video games on eBay, in the boom of like when video games kind of took off a little bit, like,
And so were you guys friends or did you meet through business?
Nope. I met him for the first time at a coffee shop and said, yeah, let's do it. It was like that. So it was kind of wild, but we both had an idea, and he did video games and Magic, his Magic as well. And I had Pokemon that I was already doing. So we kind of just put it all together and said, hey, that's a game store right there. And it worked out that way. So that's how CardNAllGaming came to be.
And how long ago was this?
That would have been 8 years ago now.
8 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, we started just doing it just on eBay, just, turning and burning on eBay, like getting off from my other job. I worked at the airport for TSA. And then I would leave that in the morning, go to the little hole in the wall that we were operating out of, do that for another 8 hours, go to bed, do it all over again the next day, over and over and over. For probably like 6 months, we were doing that. Outgrew that space.
Yep.
And then we got a little small 700 square foot store. And we actually had like little glass displays. And if we wanted to, you could put a table in the middle. But that's about all the space we had. That was it. And we just had stuff piled to the ceiling. Just all kinds of crazy, just silly, just crap sitting around. Grew out of that in like 6 months and then moved to 1,700 square feet. And, that's decent size. It's not too bad. But just for the range and the scope that we had and we wanted to do, we needed bigger than that. So we were there for probably like 8 months. And then we made a huge jump into 7,500 square feet. So wow. huge store, right? So that's about 5,000 of that is actually retail front. So good back of house. We can do repairs and stuff out of, a decent size. And then we had the front end that we can have as have for people to sit down and play games, and then obviously do video games, card games, all that stuff, all in one big store. So that is we're for a long time.
Was your partner working full time as well during the beginning?
No, he was already selling on eBay full time, so that was already his full time.
Oh wow, okay.
His thing. So yeah, but yeah, and then we have been in this new store for a year and a half now. Back in May was our year, so a year and a half now.
Do you remember at all how long it took for you guys to start taking paychecks?
Yeah, I mean I was still working at TSA up until about 2.5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I mean I was working in COVID times. I was still working at the airport. So yeah, it wasn't until after that I
didn't know that.
Yeah, I was part-time. So, but yeah, I was still working there. Yeah.
Gotcha. Are you like other of us who are fortunate in this hobby and have a sugar mama that also worked and paid some bills?
You know, I did okay for myself in that department. You know, I have a very understanding wife. Okay, I'll say that much. She's great. I love her.
Gotcha.
She helps.
No, that's really exciting stuff, though. I mean, literally from the ground up. I mean, you didn't. Obviously, from everything I heard, no real connections, didn't know anyone.
No, absolutely not. No.
Just had to just bought a storefront and had to start calling distributors, cold call them.
Yeah. It was a little easier at that time, but yeah, it's still very rough. You got to prove yourself. You got to build up your buyer level. Level up your sales basically for them.
Yeah.
And then year after year, you get better, and more allocations for you. So
right.
That's where we're at now, where we do okay. We get pretty much as much as we would want within reason. But here lately, you start to scale back a little bit and say, oh, okay, that's plenty. I don't need any more. I'm good. So there's step backwards now a little bit now that we have slowed down a little bit. So,
well, now we got to ask the $1 million question, because everyone always knows all the joking that goes around online, and Rudy Alpha Investments will get on a video and explain why game stores aren't going to make it. No one makes any money.
Yeah.
How good are game stores still doing, or at least yours in 2023 going to 2024? I mean, no issues, right? I mean, you're still full speed ahead. Everything's good. I mean, you guys have employees, correct?
Oh yeah. I have with me and Zach, we have 14 of us all together. So
14.
I have 12 employees between the two stores.
So I mean, you're still growing. You're not scaling back. Like, what is the state of the local card store in modern times?
It's really interesting to watch. The ebbs and flows. People, it booms and it busts. COVID, annihilated a lot of game stores that were not prepared, didn't have any sort of online presence. You couldn't open your doors, so a lot of them went out of business. And then, obviously, during the COVID time, that fall, Logan Paul took off, right? And we got the boom for Pokemon. And then we had a bunch of new stores pop up and people doing it out of their basement and out of, everywhere. So that was a big, a wave in the other direction. So yeah, new stores, they come and go, right? They'll last a little bit longer. The market will change. They're not used to it. They don't make adjustments, and then they'll fail. Stores that have been around for a long time, those seem to be, once you're past like year 3 and you're still doing it, you can adjust, and you're experienced enough to kind of pivot a little bit and make adjustments to where you're doing the right thing, at least to stay afloat. Am I doing, tons of, am I a millionaire? No, absolutely not. Won't be probably ever, but we're doing okay. We make adjustments here and there. We've made adjustments this year, dropping things like D&D. D&D wasn't selling for us. Goodbye, D&D. We don't sell D&D anymore. So stuff like that is stuff that you have to kind of make adjustments and make the best use of money, because I think you've talked about it on your channel as well. Businesses, we're different. We're on a time constraint. We have to do things now. We have to make sales now. And if you don't make sales now, you don't pay the bills. So it's a totally different factor from, some sort of long-term hold or investing or trying to grow wealth that way. We have to burn and burn. We have to keep the ball rolling so that we can keep paying the bills. So
yeah. Now, do you do any of that? Like, is there ever a time where you do put some stuff back for like future sales, or as fast as you can move it at full retail price, you like to get rid of it?
Yeah, I mean, especially right now, and especially if we do have something that we're sitting on and things roll forward and it appreciates in value, we just sell it and we say, okay, cool, that worked out. That was to our benefit. There's a couple of things like Magic sets that we have a backlog of, but we're not sitting on cases and cases of stuff. No. And for Pokemon, everything's available now. Why would I sit on anything? There's no point. I may as well just keep pushing. I think down the road I'll be able to, buy anything that I would really want to if I want to restock something to where it's at now. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
In the time frame that I would want to deal with things, for sure.
Yeah, without getting too personal about your finances, have you been able to now replace your income that you used to make full time at TSA with the game store? Like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Me and Zach both we do okay. A lot of we've kind of stepped back from doing floor tasks, interacting with customers, stuff like that. A lot of it we do is back end stuff, management of inventory, ordering, advertising. That type of stuff is stuff that needs to get done, and sadly we're the most skilled and the most brand focused. I always like to say that no one's going to care as much as me about my business, right? No one's going to care more than the owner. So to make those kind of calls and decisions about what I want to look like or put my brand out there, like it's all up to me and my partner. So that's what we got to do it falls on us anyways to make the decisions, so we might as well just do it.
Well, and having two different stores, are you set up now to where, do you have managers running it? Can they basically run if you're not there type thing now?
Yeah, the new store, I actually just lost my manager at the new store. He went back to school. So I'm kind of running here for now, but that's fine. It basically runs itself. We have enough policies and we do stuff on a regular basis enough to where most of my guys are good enough to do their thing and don't need too much interaction from me. Yeah. But it's what are we, year 8, and by then hopefully you have most of the kinks worked out to where you can at least be off the floor enough to where you can do the kind of higher level back end stuff without too much interruption. So yeah, that's where we're at now. Yeah.
Well, man, let's try to dig into some of these sources of income. That always is what is the biggest mystery to me, and I think a lot of people is. Where does most of it fall? How much is it accounts for with sealed products, and then getting into like behind you, like just the bulk singles, not like the high end singles, just the bulk, the pennies to up to 90-cent cards, and then how much is it of actual collections coming into you that you actually get the higher end singles that you can put in? Do you grade cards at all and mess with that? Take me through it, man. Like, how does it break down? What's your biggest cash cows, and what do you really kind of steer away from and don't do too much of anymore?
Yeah. The bread and butter is singles and bulk and moving that stuff. Especially now, this is obviously a green screen, but this is an actual picture of like my inventory, my stock of bulk that, God, I need to get something done with it eventually, but
it's real, but it isn't. Like the picture's
right.
Not
the
real,
picture's real, but yeah, it's not here. I'm not here with it, but it's still over there at the other store, and yeah, it's a big old mountain of stuff that just manpower. You just need the manpower to work through it. Really, the money is there, but it just takes so long to extract that value from it. And that's where the robots come in, and the sorting robots doing their thing. But somebody has to feed them. Somebody has to, process that stuff on the back end. So that's the real meat and potatoes is singles, people buying and selling things to us. Buying things with store credit. Store credit is the greatest concept for any sort of game store. Whoever came up with that is the real one, because being able to give somebody, a little bit more extra on top when they're going to turn around and just buy stuff at my store anyways makes sense, right? That's works. That's a win-win for everybody. So yeah, that's definitely the lifeblood of where the most margins is. Nobody can compete with me at my local level because I'm the only guy that does, buying from the ground floor, walk in to sell me things. Sure, people can buy online and sell and buy and sell locally online, but meet up on Facebook or whatever. But having a storefront, that is the true benefit of having a LGS that people can walk into and walk and say, hey, here's my stuff, pay me for it. That's the only true benefit to having a brick and mortar now is people bring you their stuff. A lot of it, especially once you get there for years and people know that you're there, and they start to see like, oh man, I'll sell it on eBay myself. Don't worry about it. And then a week later, next week, they're going to come back in and be like, man, it's too much work. Here you go. Just take your 20%, 30% and be good. That's often what happens. So that is an advantage that I have that just, nobody else can compete with that. If you do buy listing online, you have to ship it to them, and it takes a bite out of the profits that way. So you got to be competitive that way. It's just a lot of people don't want to do that. So that's really they're secure margins because it's just so much work, so much headache, and we're at the point now that we do it so well and so fast that you can't really compete with my level. Sorry guys, it's not. You can get there, you can definitely get there, but it's not something that you can just decide to do and flip a switch. So yeah, bread and butter singles selling on TCG Player Direct, huge for my business. Without Direct, I would be in a world of hurt because having to ship all these orders myself would be crazy. So I can't speak highly enough about the Direct program, TCG Player, and doing that they're maintaining that and they're making money off that somehow. It blows my mind because it's a lot of work on their end too. But yeah, for everything else, video games do pretty well for us. Decent. Like I said, repair is basically just like, it's just time and experience going into that. Parts are, expensive kind of, but a large amount of profit just for the amount of work that is involved in it. So that's always nice. That part of the business is great and is a good money maker for us. But sealed is a means to the end. I want the stuff out of those. I want people to open those sealed products to give me the stuff that's inside. Really, that's the goal. And
do you sell the sealed online at all, or do you just put it in store?
I have, but the idea is to buy so much that either I'm going to crack it myself when a set releases to get singles. For Magic, we do that pretty often, but with something like Pokemon, not really. Right now, the market's too saturated. The people that are willing to just dump something on the market day one at release and lose money on it, it's insane. Like, why would I want to compete with that? That is a business model that I can't deal in, and I guess they're happy just losing money or whatever they're doing to. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense, but I'm just not willing to lose money. Yeah. It's online, but for the most part, it's for local folks, or they buy it from me online and then come and pick it up, or I ship it to them locally.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff like that. YouTube helps out a lot too. I do people order, or if I do like a live break or something like that, that's awesome, and people do buy into that. But for the most part, it's sealed product is for people to trade stuff into at the store. Give me their singles for sealed product back, and then I get those singles back that they don't want that way. It's just that's the cycle for an LGS, and that's the perfect scenario. That's the best winning scenario for me.
You guys stick to mostly just Pokemon, Magic, or do you get into any of the other TCGs?
Yeah, we do Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece when we can get it. Flesh and Blood does pretty well for us as well. Less so on the single side, but we do have a good player base that comes and at least buys sealed product, and we run events for it, so we go through sealed product that way. But that's the major 3 or 4 main games that we do for sure.
Okay. Now, this is another thing I really and guys, we'll get everyone watching. I promise we're going to get to the questions.
The chat is going crazy.
Yeah, so we're going to get to the questions. I have my own questions for Mason. That's why I had him on.
Right.
I wanted to. So let's talk about the box cracking because
sure.
I know people that do it. I know it does happen more in Magic or other games than Pokemon. But I mean, how's that break down? Is it really profitable? Like, is it hit and miss, or is it like kind of like you're gambling on how the set does afterwards, or is it because you're on TCG Player and you're a game store and you can sell pre-release, so you get those higher ends? Is that what it comes down to?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. To pre-sales on TCG Player, you have to be a brick and mortar for one thing. So with Magic, that's how we win. That's the only way we can win. We have a very small window to crack open and sell products, and then it's not so much it evens out. If I buy or sell, if I crack a $20 card, that's awesome, cool. But those packs, for every pack there's not a $20 card, it starts to wear that away, the amount of profit there. But if I'm able to sell commons and uncommons for 20 cents, 50 cents, things like that. It kind of picks it up a little bit to where it's a little better, so it makes sense that way. And then yes, when you do hit big cards, it's actually profit because the commons and uncommons you can actually still sell, and people still do want because they're not available yet. So you'd be the first people out there that they would go to. And it's a much smaller business to try to sell to. There's a smaller seller pool as opposed to everybody else that just crack their packs and just want literally anything back from their opening packs. Businesses, we're built to make money. We haven't designed that way, so the floor kind of stays a little bit more stable that way.
How early do game stores get product? Is it like a couple weeks or?
So like with Magic in particular, we can sell it 2 weeks before. Wait, I'm sorry, 1 week before. So we'll get it on like maybe that Friday before the pre-release. Most of the time it's the week after that though. Monday or Tuesday, we'll probably get it in. And then so that's it. We have those couple days to kind of get with that and try to open it, get it listed, get it sorted, and list it as fast as possible to try to capitalize on the pre-order process. But it's not a huge window that we have. We've got to turn around that stuff really, really fast. So like the most recent Ravnica remaster that comes out this weekend, we had it on Friday, so we were cracking packs all through the weekend, and then Monday right now we're sending it through the sorting machine, and then it sorts it for us. We take those CSVs that it spits out, upload it in a TCG player, and then bada bing, bada boom, we're up and rolling. So robots help for sure. That's a huge win.
What's the biggest thing? I mean, that you think got you to right? We started out having a full-time job, having to do this full-time as well.
Yeah.
In a little bitty box space to grow where you are. Like, what do you think the main thing was? You think it was having the partner and having the video game side of things too? Was it just not having to take money out of the business, be able to reinvest it? Like, is it really about just building an inventory over time of all the stuff that gets left over that you still broke even on or made a little on, and just kind of builds and builds and builds to where you have enough inventory to continuously sell down the road? Like, what really takes it to make it past that 2-3 year mark that you mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, it's not profiting is definitely a winning combination, because everything you make goes directly back into the business, and it snowballs. That you kind of have to do it that way. There's no other way to do it, because if you're trying to feed yourself and starting from nothing, it's very difficult. If you don't have a lot of capital to throw back in it, you're asking for a lot. It's just, you have to kind of start as a side hustle and then build it up that way. You have to. There's just no other way. You can't go out to a bank and get a loan anymore. That's no longer a thing. Even for an established store like me that had $2 million in gross sales, we could not get a $50,000 loan from the bank. I don't know why. It's crazy to me, but they wouldn't do it. It's crazy. So anybody that doesn't have any sort of higher capital than that, I don't know how you would start a business if you did not have any sort of starting capital to build with, or you just have us use it as a side job and have a main thing that you're doing. Truly, that's the only way to build a business. Like Pokemon Wonder says, to build a business, you got to lose money at first. It is what it is. But just take that money, you turn it back into it, and hopefully it feeds on itself enough to where you get to where you're at a stable point. So yeah, that's how you got to do it these days. That's the only way.
Yeah. So what's your take on all these new games popping up? I mean, we all know kind of that most of them are going to end up failing and fizzling out, but I mean, I'm sure you guys are liking it. We have the One Piece, you have the Lorcana, you have the MetaZoo.
Yeah.
Now
sure.
We're getting another Dragon Ball Super popping up. I mean, I'm sure I know you guys have to be making good money off these when they're in their heydays. So I mean, how do you try to pick up any new card game that comes out? Are you selective with it? What do you try to do with all that?
Yeah, I mean, you make money while you can is really all you can really do, and be cautious after the point. Get a feel for it from people. See if people come in or call us and say, "Hey, do you have Lorcana right now? Do you have? When are you going to get it in? Are you going to have the next set? Are you going to do a pre-release for it?" All those questions when you get that, multiple times a week, sometimes every day. For Lorcana, for a while it was like that, and you're like, okay, I better do the best I can to try to get this stuff because the eating's going to be good if I can get it in. So yeah, having a store like that, I can get a baseline and a read and get an idea of how well a game's going to do early, hopefully, right? So that's that helps out a lot. Having customers saying, "Hey, I need this," or "I want this," right?
Yeah.
And then I will give a game a shot. I'm not afraid of buying into a couple cases of the first set or whatever, or running sign up for organized play. Like there's like a new Star Wars. I don't know if it's gonna do anything. I really don't know. I have no idea.
Forgot about that.
I don't like the cards. I think that looks gross and hokey and not great. But maybe it'll catch on. I'm gonna do, if there's money to be made, I'm gonna make that money. But yeah, I don't have any long-term goals. And as soon as something goes and it stops being, a moneymaker for me, I don't carry it anymore. Yeah. It's just not worth throwing money into a pit and just have it sit there. I've done it with too many games already. I could list off so many TCGs that I've bought into and then I've seen die in my store and then die, nationally and then worldwide. I'm just done. I'm just done trying to throw money at stuff to try to hope that it catches on later on,
Do you have a graveyard of sealed product in the back room that sits back there?
Nope. I give them away. I got to get rid of them somehow. So I'll give them away or toss them on TCG Player or eBay.
And they eventually sell.
Grand Archive was the latest casualty that I had bought into. So yeah, all my Grand Archive is sitting on there on eBay. So hopefully somebody will pick it up. Help me out. Buy me out, please. Oh, look at my Mountain Dew is.
Ooh, oh, I like it.
Wow. Ooh.
We don't even know what's in there. You say it's Mountain Dew, but
that's right.
We'll leave it at that.
That's right.
No, man, all this is really interesting me. I mean, I think it's everyone's kind of, pipe dream. Like, oh, it'd be great to own a game store one day. And you know how it is. Like, it gets so demonized online, and a lot of it's like just for memes and joke's sake. Like, oh, it's, you do the same thing. Oh, it sucks to own a game store.
Right. I mean, that's why I started my channel, right? I mean, that's kind of like the idea is like, this is a part of the market or part of the TCG experience that a lot of people just don't know about, right? They don't know how distribution works. They don't know how allocations work. And allocations, even in the time that I've existed, work differently. At the very beginning of my business, I would be able to call up Wizards of the Coast and say, "Hey, I want some of the new product." I didn't have to order at all through distribution. That's crazy. Like nobody knows that's even a thing, but it used to be. So it has some mystique to it, and a lot of people are just making shit up as they go, or just assuming a lot of things, and that's the whole meat and potatoes of my channel is that I want to tell people how it really is. And yeah, there's jokes and memes, and yeah, it's a business, it's a job, it is for all the mystique that there is to it. There's a lot of mundane stuff, and yeah, I'm late at night and I don't want to go home. Yeah, I'm going to sit here and sort some bulk, and that's what it takes. That's part of my life. That's what I do. I actually really enjoy going through bulk. Bulk's actually. I must have been reincarnated from like a gold miner or a gold panner or something because I love sifting through bulk. I don't know why. It's totally not a good use of my time. Like it's I have so much more things I could be doing to make money, but I just love going through bulk and finding that 50-cent card and being like, oh, I got it. Got them.
What portion of your business you think is in store compared to online? Is it majority online or does the in store keep up pretty good?
Yeah. I mean, the past year. Let's go back. The past 2 years, online was all there was, right? So really, when we were shut down, couldn't have walk-in traffic. It had to be online. We had to have a website, and luckily, we were smart enough to being already transitioning that way when the pandemic happened. So we lucked out and got really lucky on that. So we already had a lot of stuff in place or being put in place. So all we had to do was flip a switch, and we had a website, and it was awesome. And we won a lot of business that way, especially locally. So that was awesome. And, so online was huge. And then Pokemon blew up. And obviously, we were selling. I have pictures on my phone of just packages stacked from the floor to the ceiling of stuff that was going out that day of Pokemon releases. Just insane, crazy things. But then now, things have cooled down a lot. You can find a product at a lot of different places and everywhere. And everybody and their mom sells Pokemon cards now. So it's just like, it's plentiful. There's options out there. And like I said, there's people willing to sell it cheaper than I am. So, we've kind of scaled back and kind of focused more on doing stuff in store. But
I mean,
we're
speaking
trying
of
to
that,
push
though,
further
like,
and doing more stuff online and trying to build that and build our brand into a national brand and do a lot more that way by listing things. Again, singles are the lifeblood for us. So being able to buy more and pay better on singles is definitely a big goal for this year, and try to work towards getting more, mail-in business and people wanting to mail stuff in that way. I think it's really a good way of growing as we kind of, I don't want to say we're tapped out to the local market, but I would hope that anybody that plays any of these games, they know we exist already locally. I would hope. But yeah, we definitely try to do more and try to grow that way. I think is really a good strategy for this year. So that's the goal.
I mean, speaking of that, have you seen, being one of the bigger people, have you seen any of the smaller people around you going out? Have you heard any smaller stores that are starting to, close up or not get the distribution anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I've last year I saw 5 stores locally close.
Like 5.
Yeah.
Has that helped you out?
I mean, it's definitely it's a cautionary tale. If you see them go out different ways and not make adjustments, try to sell things and do different things, and it's crazy because every time one closes, one's right around the corner and opens up. And it's just like, did you not just see 5 stores close? Why are you doing this? It's just it's crazy to me. I don't understand. But look, between the stores I've seen come and go in the 7 years of being in business, there's really just 3. There's 3 left that have been as long as I have been. That's it. 3 stores. So lucky,
pretty wild.
Lucky, or I don't want to say I'm necessarily smarter. I'm definitely not smarter because I'm still in this business. Maybe they're smart and they got out. Maybe they're the real winners. But it's not easy. It's not. I've seen a lot more businesses open and close than open and stay open. So take that for what it's worth.
Man, I better. We'll get to some more stuff. I better stop ignoring the chat and take some of their questions.
Okay.
Is there anything you wanted to mention or talk about, or anything you wanted to bring up before I?
No, I've been seeing people coming in and saying saying different things. I appreciate the comments. I'll say that, but no, yeah. If you see something or you want to, can I highlight stuff too? Am I able to do that or no?
You can try it. Hit something. If it will it work?
No, I got nothing. So it's all you.
Okay. Well, yeah. If you see something you want me to take, let me know. Absolutely. I mean, I know tons of people were. Guys, I appreciate all you being here. I see all you guys comment in the chat. If you have questions, I will try my best to get to them. If you see I skipped it, just let me know and retype it. I'll take it.
Put it in now. Alex, if you go to the top, I'll stay at the bottom and see what's up. How about that? We'll tag team it that way.
That sounds good to me.
All right.
I know Green Shiz wasn't here, but he had to go watch the football game, so it's all good. Jeez.
While you're looking, I'm going to do this question from Ryan. Question for Mason: what do you collect personally? Anything Pokemon or card related? I have a very, very small collection of stuff that either people have given me or stuff that I have bought over the years. I have a very small investment stash, if you want to even call it that, where I have some stuff. A couple plays that I called and I thought were too cheap at the time. Stack of I love the stained glass birds. That's one of my favorite cards. So I have a good stack of those sealed in the plastic still. All that like Sun and Moon era stuff. I have a couple of like Umbreon and Darkrai, Espeon and Deoxys, those cards. I have a pretty good couple stacks of those. Just stuff that I like, and I think, especially when I picked them up, were too cheap, and we're going to do something. So that's like my stash of it's nothing crazy. It's like what, $400 worth of some cards, but yeah, that's what I got. But yeah, I have some other stuff like I have some cards like this one here. I have some stuff like at the store that I have to like. This is from Echo Base Collectibles. Of course, it's green, so you're not gonna be able to see it.
Right.
He signed it, so it's kind of cool. So I have like a little art piece from him. This card I have. This is the alt art Gengar Mimikyu. One of my managers actually gave me this card. I had it in my deck box when I played. I had it in there for like 2 or 3 years. and then I sent it off to grading just to have it and hit a 10. So just jumbling around in my own deck box just every day, but I still got a 10 on it. So see, you can 10 too. That's not a
what kind of deck sleeves are those? You need to sell those.
I know, right?
Obviously protective.
Jeez. Yeah, I just got stuff like that. Stuff that people have sent me or something that means something to me. I don't really have anything else that's super, super crazy.
No, that's a nice card there. I mean, that's one of the top ones in the era.
It's one of my favorites.
Silverhawk. Okay, so this is a good question. Speak to what looks great when someone comes to you and sell their collection. Sealed, graded, sorted, bulk, everything organized. Is it spreadsheet listed? Good pictures? What makes it? What do you like to see when people bring collections into you? And also, I'll add. Do you like prioritize them? Do you give like better percentages for certain different things or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
A lot of the game stores, they'll have like a flat price that they pay out. I don't do that. We don't do that. We have like a spreadsheet that we put in a number and then it spits out based on whatever the number is, whatever the value of the card is, it pays a percentage. So for a $5 card, I'm paying less than a $50 card, right? Because that makes sense, right? Something that is liquid and easy to move, or I'm going to make more profit on, I'm going to pay a little better on. And why other places don't do that, I don't know, but that's how we do it. So that's a big thing and a big way that we keep high-end stuff coming in our doors. And that's some of the hardest parts is getting and keeping good stuff coming and going. And, paying the higher percentage is we pay up to 80% out, on high-end cards. So that's pretty aggressive. That's pretty freaking aggressive. But that's what's worked for us. So, and then as far as like people bringing it into me, I don't really, it doesn't have to I don't like people that come up with spreadsheets because I'm gonna have to price it all out anyways. So I never trust their numbers. So it's not helpful, but, I have a pretty good collection that came in and it's all like, cosmic eclipse, sun and moon and a sun and moon. I love that stuff. Obviously it's also very popular and very expensive right now, but, yeah, collections like that I can tell were kept in a binder, kept nice. They come in with decent sleeves on them, like Dragon Shield sleeves or high quality sleeves. I know that I'm going to be in a little mood to buy pretty much everything in that collection for sure. I try not to turn things away if I can make a little bit of money on it, but I definitely tell people, the higher value stuff we definitely are going to pay you the best on. And the stuff that is cheap and maybe they think is expensive, and I say, hey, condition is bad, or it's going to be, in a near mint it's going to be $100, but in this condition it's only 20, and I tell them, you want to keep it for that or you want to trade it. That's it. People appreciate me like just barfing knowledge at them because they can see that I know what I'm talking about. I'm just not a guy that is doing this. I've been at it for a little while. So people appreciate me, telling them stuff and saying, "Hey, this is what a shadowless card is versus first edition." And people appreciate that, and that's a good way of people, can trust me, and I hopefully be better incentivized to bring me stuff, in the future if they have other stuff they want to bring in. So
I mean, 80%. That's more than fair. I mean,
I think so. I mean, that's yeah.
You look like if you trade your car into a dealership, you're not getting 80% of that value. Most stores, 70% is good, and then a lot of stuff it goes even lower than that, like 80%. Right. And then people will still be like, "Well, you're going to make this much." It's like that's the wrong question. Is worried about how much they're going to make. The right question is if you got 100% and had to do all the work yourself and had to take all the fees out and made an extra 5 or 7%, is it really worth it to not be able to walk up the street and turn it in and get your money and say, I'm done, Yeah.
I mean, how much are you factoring your own time? If you have a collection and you look at it and be like, man, I have thousands of cards here. What do I do with these? How much time is that? How many eBay listings? How many TCG Player, not just listings, but then shipping it out do I have to do?
And then just optimizing, people kind of discount that. It's like you have an established store, you know how to sell, you know how to list, title, whatever it is. If they don't know what they're doing, I mean, sure, one may have sold for whatever it was market price, but it doesn't mean they're going to get that if they don't take good pictures, title it right, list it right. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. I mean, that it makes sense a lot of times. Just trade it in if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. That's a good point too. Is thinking about it that way is what what do you value your own time at? And I've had people that, that buy and flip and then bring me the best stuff because they know they can just sell it to me instantly and get that money easier, than having to do it themselves. They don't have to deal with eBay and the refunds and the shipping it back and forth. And, if something fails authentication, then you're out all that money and all that crap. It's just, our people will bring me stuff and they don't know, hey, Nathan, is this resealed? Is this, is this, I had somebody in here with a first ed jungle and a first ed fossil pack. And they're like, has this been resealed? Can you tell? What do I look for? And people bring me stuff in all the time, knowing that I'm going to tell them, and I have experience in that stuff where they don't. And that's part of it too. Part of that is, and part of me making a little bit of money is I do have knowledge and that you can at least bring it to me and then be like, yes, this is good. I'm going to pay you on it. And then you'll be done. Right. And then you don't have to worry about it anymore. So that's
one thing you said. Have you had anything fail the authentication process?
I personally have not. I've heard people of having things that failed, but I have never had anything fail authentication. I know that sometimes if you mislist something or say something is not accurate, or a lot of people have like a slab listing up and they use the same picture, but it has multiple different cert numbers that you're obviously going to sell. If you have multiples, they will reject it that way because it doesn't match the cert number. So things like that will happen.
Okay.
That's just, yeah.
Jimbo wants to know what percentage of your sales is older video games. He said he tried it and they just couldn't find enough near him.
Yeah, games are difficult to find, and especially now where everybody knows that, games have value, right? You can't go to yard sales and find 25-cent N64 games. That's not going to be a thing anymore. It's not. Having a storefront definitely helps as well. Having, advertising, hitting up all the Facebook groups saying, hey, why run around and mess with people that are going to yank your chain? Bring it to me. I'm going to pay your percentage, and then you wipe your hands of it, right? You don't have to worry about meeting up somewhere in an alley or a coffee shop. Just come bring it to me. It's easier, right? That's the really way that we're pushing and trying to get people that maybe would otherwise want to do it themselves. Or I think I'm going to do it myself. It's so easy. It's not easy. If it was easy, I wouldn't have a business at all, right? We'd all just be doing it ourselves. So video games are particularly rough. Percentage of sales, I would say, older, right? What's older? Is the Wii old? I don't know. But a lot of Wii stuff is selling right now. GameCube is always super popular. N64, handheld stuff. Since they shut down all the eShops, handheld stuff has been crazy. All the Pokemon games obviously are huge now and kind of taken off. So yeah, all that stuff is a huge part of the business, and a lot of the stuff that moves. I'll put stuff out, put a picture on Instagram and Facebook, and make a TikTok of it, and it's gone the next day. So it's that ravenous for people that are looking for that kind of stuff, and then also just getting it in. It's really difficult to get stuff in because it doesn't stay around very long.
Yeah, it makes sense. Treyo, thanks for the super chat, silencing all the level one investors.
Look at this. Look at you.
So this is a good comment. This is Sir Wesley's first full-time year in the Pokemon business. I don't have a lot of capital, but it seems to be working out. Singles are selling. My inventory is growing. Always do it as possible. That's awesome to hear.
That's when you start out. That's best case scenario, right? Like, what else would you want to be doing? Even if you're not doing it just to like build a business, just getting some money back from your hobby, right? We are so fortunate to have a hobby where you can, if you're done with something, or if you pull something great, or if you grade something and it hits a good grade, that you can sell it and buy some other stuff that you want.
Yeah,
a lot of hobbies they don't have that. Like a lot of things, once you buy into it, it's gone, and that's money's gone and spent, right?
You go play golf for a weekend, and you're out $100 after everything.
Yeah, for sure. Are you buying all this equipment and stuff to play? Whatever. It can be expensive.
Mason, here's the number one question of the night. How is the old van doing, man? If you guys don't know, on the way to Charlotte, Mason's van broke down along the way. He had to have it towed, and
made it 95% of the way.
Still got all of his stuff out of it and got everything set up on time for Collecticon. No idea how that happened.
Never again.
How's the van?
Never again do I want to do that. That was awful. It's crazy. Van is good. We got it all fixed up there. The guy did a great job. And then it's got some recalls that we got to go do. But other than that, it's good. It's brand new. It shouldn't have any issues. It has less than 20,000 miles on it. Like, it should be fine. Those things, they're built to last. So, geez, if I have any more issues, it's gonna be a problem. I'll be upset.
Pokemon Wonder, what's up, man? I did. Let's see. The PSA 10, the full art Charizard from 151 sold for me while we were streaming. If you heard that,
That's a big
I
one.
didn't have the phone on silent. Oh man,
that's a big one for sure.
Yeah, it was a good one. All right, question for Mason. Oh, we already took that. You took that one earlier.
Yeah. Oh, we're good. We're getting through them now.
Oh, we're already down there. We're doing good. We're doing good here. Hey, Pokeani's in the house. What's up, man?
Man, Pokeani, what a guy, you know?
Let's see. Do we liquidity? I think we already kind of answered this stuff. It's a physical store. How do you manage cash flow across booms and busts in the TCG market? Do you squirrel liquidity away during times of plenty for potential darker stretches?
No.
All in all the time.
No, game stores are so poorly built, like from a sound business standpoint, because game stores don't have any sort of liquidity like hidden away. That's not a thing. If I have money, I'm going to spend that money to acquire more things to grow my business. It's just, we aren't built that way fundamentally. We don't run that way fundamentally. If I have money in the bank, I'm going to spend it to buy more things so I can sell it. That is the life cycle of game stores. And that's why when something like a pandemic happens, that we all go out of business in 3 months, because we don't have that money. It's gone. It's spent on other things. And then if you say, I can't sell these things, my money's stuck and I'm done. So yeah, that is the life cycle and the money cycle for game stores. It's all spent already.
I know the answer to this already, but I'll ask it because this person asked it. What do you think will be better, high turnover or a good profit margin?
High turnover, 100% all the time.
Always.
If I'm sitting on something, I'm losing money. So that is the goal. Would I rather flip something 5 times for 10% or 1 time for 50%? It's going to be that 10% because I have more opportunities along that way.
We answered a lot of these questions, guys. If you're just tuning in, I'll answer them back for you. Do you list all the cards or keep some? Mason lists everything. He doesn't try to hold out and hold on to
if I don't have things listed, it's not on purpose.
There you go.
It's not because I'm holding back on it. Now I do. There are a couple cards that I say, if something I think is going to be a playable card, or something comes out and it's cheaper than what I think it's going to be, we might list it for something really high or something crazy, and to kind of wait for the price to go up a little bit. But yeah, we don't hoard cards back and hope that they go up in value. No.
And then Andre, we answered this too. Does he speculate on other specific TCGs have midterm, long term? He carries all the different TCGs, but they're the same thing. He's trying to turn it over, make the money when it's there. But this applies to Pokemon with his 9 billion print run. I speculate. I guess that would mean like invest or hold on to. I don't know where he's going with that.
He could just mean that do I just buy into them? Do I buy in them in hopes that they do anything special? Yeah, I mean, Lorcana, One Piece, Metazoo. I mean, like I said, I will buy into anything in hopes that it catches fire, right? And I get lucky, and people want it. For everything that I've done that with, I'm probably less. I've lost more than I've won in those scenarios. Digimon, Flesh and Blood in some cases. What else I've got? Dragon Ball Super I've lost on. Metazoo I've definitely lost on. What's the other game? I've bought into.
What do you mean by lost? Though, like lost on certain products, not overall, though, right?
Maybe not overall, but definitely on some products for sure.
Because they had some heydays too. You probably did all right.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Super used to be great. Dragon Ball Super was awesome for a long, long time. It's only about set 4 or 5, and that product just it got to a choke point, and people, you couldn't get anything, and players couldn't play anything because they didn't have the product, and yeah, the game died. Crazy. What a concept that when people can't buy things, that a game dies.
Felipe, question for the purple robe. Mason, I didn't know you got your purple robe. I didn't realize you were.
No, I have a brown robe. I don't have a purple one. I don't know if that's I've have to.
That's the higher tier Kabbalist,
I guess
right?
so. Maybe.
Okay. How much will hot dogs be in 2025?
I don't know. Didn't Costco raise their prices on hot dogs here recently? Didn't they go up a quarter or something?
I can't remember. I thought they didn't.
Or did they not? Okay. Well, that's a good sign. Yeah. Let's treat Costco like Groundhog's Day, where if it sees their shadow or if the hot dogs raise price, we'll know whether or not something's going up or down.
Absolutely. Oh man. We got some haters in the chat.
That's fine.
All right.
We'll bring them up. We can talk about it. I don't care.
Nah, man. No.
Okay.
He's here hating on me every video lately. I don't know why. Let's see what we got. A lot of people
about making content. People want to hear your opinion until they don't want to hear your opinion. It's really crazy. It's really a weird conundrum.
Oh, this is actually a good question. Have you had to terminate any employees ever?
Yeah, I've definitely let employees go.
And do you banish them to the Shadow Realm?
I've not had to banish any. They were all for different reasons. They were not for anything like super crazy. Nothing wild like that. It was just things that came up, or mostly like a lot of time it's scheduled conflicts or something comes up in their lives and they have to do something. So yeah, it's I've never been in a scenario where I was forced to fire somebody over something. I guess I've been very lucky in that regard. Normally, if somebody's not working out, sometimes they just get a feeling and maybe they kind of do it to themselves, because they see the writing on the wall. Sometimes that happens too.
Here, I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Because
okay.
Pokey Trainer, he said, I thought his background was real. It's a green screen. So it is real. Like it's a green screen, but here's his, one of his most popular videos. It's like 121,000 views, and it is all of the bulk. So it's all real.
It
it's
does exist
at his shop, but it's just he's sitting behind a green screen for the recording.
Things that I do. I don't want you looking at my shelves of paper towels and trash bags in the background in the back of the store. So yeah, I put up a green screen.
But it's all very real.
It rolls up on the top, but it works real good. It's great.
That's pretty funny. Oh, here's a good question. So where do you see modern Japanese Pokemon cards going? And then just like to expand on that. I mean, where do you stand on like Japanese product? Do you carry any Japanese product for any card game?
Yeah, we carried Eevee Heroes when it first came out. We bought a couple cases of that and it sold crazy. Like, obviously very, very popular. But yeah, I think there's definitely a steadfast group of people that really do enjoy Japanese cards now. And I don't think that market is going down to where it was, pre-boom. It is a superior product. So I think that people can appreciate the higher quality cards, the different nuances of stuff that they do in Japan. They get cool special stuff like God packs. They get cool special stuff like Master Balls. Like those were, man, can you imagine if we got Master Balls in English? That'd been so silly.
Well, we got God packs at least.
Oh, we did. We got Evolution line kind of God packs, but yeah, so we didn't get the full,
quote
the full
unquote,
10,
right.
But yeah. But yeah, I think Japanese stuff, there's definitely people that are diehard Japanese. They appreciate that. They grade really well. Obviously, that also helps. Yeah, superior products. Once people learn about them, people tend to stick with them if that's what their preference is. So, yeah, I think Japanese cards, and especially modern, will always have a place because they're always normally super early, and the hype sometimes gets to people where they want that stuff. So there's always going to be a little bit of a chase and hype to the Japanese product. There just is.
Do you carry any of it like sealed?
I don't. Not of anything here recently. I just don't have a connection.
Okay.
For it to where I have to get import it from somewhere. But I would. It's not off the table of something I would like to start carrying, just a little bit, just to see how it does.
I get it. So how about like buying high end? So high end slabs, he asked. But what about? I mean, do you guys mess with any high end? Like if someone brings in like a vintage or mid era booster box or anything, I guess let's say high end. Let's say $1,000 plus. Do you guys even mess with buying that stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I will. What I got here recently that came in. Well, these are like not high end, so this kind of proves the opposite. But got some good old CGC 8.5 sitting here that came in here recently. I got Articuno Fossil, a 7 of Dark Blastoise.
All right.
What's that? First Ed though. First Ed Hollow. That's pretty good. I do have some Japanese. What is that? Japanese modern, and a 10 of PSA. Sheesh. It's a good card. Love this card.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I get some different stuff that come in, and if it walks through the door and I think I can make money on it, I'm going to buy it. You may not like the percentage I'm going to buy it at, but I definitely do. I try to play it safe, especially with slabs. Slabs are so volatile, and Dan Ketchum could do 100 of that same card and then it crashes the price. So thanks, Dan, for all the times that happened. But if something walks in the door and I think I can make money on it, I'm going to buy it. It's just what percentage I'm going to buy it at.
Yeah.
If it's going to sell fast, if I think I'm going to sit on it, I'm going to pay less, right? That's just the way it goes. So that's really what it comes down to, is how fast do I think I can sell it, really.
Well, Silverhawk said, are you familiar with any innovative or tech developing to scale or disrupt the TCG market, looking through an optimistic lens? I mean, I know you use Aroka. I know
what is
Eli,
this?
Eli uses Aroka and some other machine. I know there's a lot of machines being developed. Are there any things that you're trying out or that you know about coming?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, do you want more than that?
You want to let us know?
There are many companies out there that.
Or is this a cabal secret? Do we have to keep them?
I'm not going to say that there's a Patreon wall that you have to pay for. I can give it to you guys here. If I go too deep, we'll talk about it. But no, there's lots of stuff out there that see the boom and success of Pokemon and Magic, and just that singles are a thing. So singles in particular, especially sorting robots, there's a lot of people out there that are trying to compete with Roka, and Fizzbatch is another big one that we actually have on order. We actually have one on the way. There's some other companies as well that do some stuff, but going through bulk and making the bulk process easier is definitely something that is being currently optimized. And there are a lot of people out there that also do not like TCG Player. They don't like the fee structure. They think it's very expensive. And there are some competitors that are getting better at being able to compete. The problem is getting the market share away from TCG Player and towards those other sites is really what they're always going to struggle with. It's like if somebody opened up the doors and tried to compete with eBay, it'd be very, very difficult to try to steal market share from that. And that's really TCG Player is eBay now, so it's basically that's what you're trying to do. But I do know of a lot of people that are building algorithms, building ways of uploading your singles so that they are on multi-platforms, that they are selling on Shopify and shopping on your own website and on eBay and on TCG Player and on these other websites internationally. Yes, there's a lot of people that are currently investing a lot of money and time in creating products to do that. The problem with that is that TCG Player obviously doesn't like that, and they're going to try to shut those down and try to keep these companies from doing things, especially when it comes to pulling their prices. The price data, scrubbing their site, pulling that information and using it for their own pricing. TCG Player used to be cool with that. They're not cool with it anymore because it bogs down the system. So that's a huge no-no. And a company called Card Trader recently got in trouble because they were basically logging into people's TCG Player accounts and pulling their data and uploading, downloading constantly, getting that pricing data and keeping their inventory accurate. So yeah, they caught onto that. They caught that. And then because that's against the terms of service, they temporarily suspended a lot of the sellers that were on there for like a month, up to a month. Some people said that they had a lot of issues. Some people said that it was a couple days. I'll tell you right now, if I had my account shut down for a month, that'd be rough. In a bad spot. If I had my singles not being sold for a month, that'd be rough. But so yeah, you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. Nobody wants to piss off eBay. Nobody wants to piss off TCG Player. We're all going to play nice.
So but you're not trying any of them right now, though. Or are you?
They're trying very hard, but they have not got there. And again, I'm going to stay where the buyers are. It doesn't make any sense to list my stuff, even if it's for more, if I just don't sell it as fast.
Yeah.
Nowhere is even remotely close to as good as TCG Player and eBay, so I'm not going to sell anywhere else. Why would I? It's just,
what about Amazon?
Amazon's rough. Amazon has a lot of good options. I talked about in a recent video about people that do bulk lots on there. Bulk lots are very time consuming. They're very difficult if you don't have a robot that does it. They're very finicky about how Amazon receives them. The fees that they charge to ship that stuff for what it is not very good. You can make up all these bulk lots, spend hours and hours and hours of doing it, and then you're gonna get like 30 cents a bulk lot if when you sell them. It's just, is that worth your time? Do you want to do that? Does it sound like a good time to you?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's Amazon can be rough. Amazon also does. Again, they give partnership deals and volume deals to a lot of people too. So there's things like that go into it. There's some businesses on there that can sell Magic singles. Magic singles have been a closed off category for a couple years now. You can't get authorized to sell card singles on there anymore. But there's some people that are grandfathered in. So those people are running those markets and making all of this money because they're the only people that can list it. Somebody came up to me and said they wanted to sell their Amazon account that had that unrestricted for tens of thousands of dollars. I declined, but I respect the hustle.
I mean, I wonder. I mean, obviously, there's a dollar amount that makes sense because with enough time, I'm sure it definitely pays off.
Sure, yeah.
They know what they have. But here's the real question: being in business 8 years now, what color Lambo do you drive?
Oh, you mean the next one I'm getting? Because I already have so many. Like,
well, yeah. I mean,
I got to think about what color I don't have yet.
Everyone in this hobby is driving Lambos and Bugattis. We know that.
Do they have a Mountain Dew green? Do they have one? Probably close. I can probably go in close. Yeah,
I'm good with that too. I'm going to go with Mason on that. I like the lime green Lambos.
You can get the lime green. I'll get the code red one. How about that?
All right, let's do that.
All right, cool.
Yep. That'll only take another few months of selling. We'll be good.
Yeah. I think I got a couple more boxes of bulk and I'll get there. You're right.
Oh, this question always gets asked every time I make any video. Of course, you got to ask it too, It's asking about the scam buyers and the damage and the products and never received all that. I mean, how big of a deal? Here, guys, you know my answer. I've been selling eBay 12 years. I've been selling TCG Player for a while now. It's so few and far between. When you see all the drama videos and the thieves and all the stuff that goes on, it's such a small percentage of this hobby that it ever happens to. And, you might have it happen to you once or twice ever. For me, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Mason, what's your take on this? How much do you have to deal with this kind of stuff?
Hold on. I'm going to log into my TCG Player account.
Yeah,
can I share my screen? Am I able to do that?
Huh?
Can I share my screen? Am I able to do that?
Yeah, there should be a present button at the bottom.
Okay.
If you hit present, it should share it.
Share screen. Okay. Share screen. Sorry, guys. I just want to show. This is going to prove my point. I'm trying to prove a point. Okay. Okay. This is my main seller, my main store eBay account, or TCG Player account. That is my feedback score, right?
What is that? That 150? Is that 15 or 150?
158,000 feedback score. So, and the percentage, it's so astronomically low of people that scam you or want to scam you. It's a non-issue. It's like it's not a problem. It really isn't.
That's amazing. So how many, if you had to guess, you mean to take it down?
It's okay.
Okay. So if you had to guess, what was your average amount of orders that you're shipping out like daily or weekly?
Yeah. We ship, again, it's with direct, it's kind of hard to say.
Oh yeah, you're
right.
I
have going out, we do probably somewhere in the range of 300 to 400 orders a day. On the weekends, it's a little higher, but that's that's a lot, right? But and then each order has so many singles in that as well, so who knows, right? But even when we shipped a lot, even when we did a lot of it for ourselves, the amount of people that said that they didn't get their stuff was so low and so far and few in between. It's really it's not a huge issue. In fact, it's such a huge non-issue that's kind of like double negative. Sorry, it's so not an issue that TCG Player recommends $20 before it goes shipped. A lot of bigger sellers and we've adopted this too. They say $50. If it's $50 and below, it can go PWE and it's fine. So the amount of issues that you have, it's just not worth it to ship out tracked because there's so few issues. You're better off and you make more money. If you do have to refund somebody, it still bounces out to be better off for you to sell just in a plain white envelope, because I don't even want to say 9 out of 10 times, like 99 out of 100 times. I don't know what the percentage would be, but it's so silly low that, yeah, we just ship it in PWE and it's fine. Like very, very rarely do we get, and then normally it's around holidays, normally around times that, like Christmas and Thanksgiving, all this stuff. They're like, hey, I haven't got my stuff yet. It's like, yeah, because it's the busiest time of the year. So we had to uptick in the past 2 months, sure. But most of the time of the year, people are used to waiting at this point, and it's fine. It doesn't really affect or give us any issues. Really, it doesn't.
And on top of that, I mean, the ones that say they don't receive it, I mean, a lot of them probably didn't receive it. I mean, the mail, for an envelope, the mail is not 100%. So a lot of them probably do get lost sometimes.
But that means that we're so fortunate to have a post office where I can send something in an envelope across the country for 70 cents. Like we're so lucky. Like, tons of opportunity there. And yeah, if they lose 5 out of 1,000 envelopes I ship, like, cool. That's awesome. What was that? Less than 1%? Like, yeah, that's great. So hard to complain about the postal service at all.
Let's try to help Sir Wesley out. So he's Dutch. He's got a Dutch account. He's trying to get a YouTube channel started, and he wants some advice, man. My biggest advice to you is try to stay consistent. Try out different things that you like, that you enjoy doing, and different styles of the video, and see which one starts to do well for you. And I just try to do more of that if you're trying to grow the channel. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just really about being consistent. YouTube really rewards that. So whether it's going to be every 1 day a week or every couple of days a week, you're gonna put a video up. Try to keep that going, because then people will know when to come back to your channel, and YouTube will keep recommending you. That kind of stuff really helps. What do you think, Mason? I mean, Mason's got 3 times the size channel I do, so listen to him more than me.
A lot of it comes down to long term, right? Because then we can have a video that pops off, but long term, if you want to grow a channel for a long term, find something that you're super passionate about and is super unique to yourself and that you have to offer. There are 10,000 people opening up their mail daily stuff all over YouTube, right? Bring something to it, or make something interesting, or make it engaging to where it's fun to watch or entertaining to watch. And, people will catch on if they like that kind of content. And that's really what it comes down to is offering up something that is unique and it's interesting. And you'll know if you're doing something right because the amount of people that are hating on you, because that means they're getting new viewers. So that's really what it comes down to. If people are shitting on your videos, hey, that's somebody that didn't watch all the other stuff before. So that's good. So
that is the biggest truth on YouTube. It's like
it really
when you make videos that has like 100% like rate, and all the comments are nice and fun and fluffy, usually that's the video that got the least views on your channel. Mm-hmm. It always works out that way.
Yep.
It's so strange. So I'm not saying to go be like me and go, search for the drama, but it's okay to be a little edgy sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, just make it interesting. That's the biggest thing, is making it interesting and trying different stuff out, but sticking to something, or at least a category of doing stuff that people can expect consistently.
Alex hates Japanese cards because he doesn't know how to read. It's not true. I don't know how to read English cards either, but I like those.
Correct.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, he's gaining some subscribers on here. People don't care it's in Dutch. That's good to hear.
No, it's fine. And there's lots of Dutch people that enjoy Pokemon. Absolutely, it's big everywhere, and I'm sure there's a lot of European countries that have videos or channels that pop off just because they're looking for content in their own home language. So I'm sure that's a thing for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Gengar's Den. We met him at I met him at Collecticon as
Great
well
guy.
in Charlotte.
Offered to help my van just out of the kindness of his heart. That's saying something because he's a mechanic.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What kind of card do you deem sellable in TCG Player in a damaged HP in a damaged heavy played condition?
What kind of card do I deem sellable?
I mean, I don't know. What do you mean by that, Gengar's Den? I mean, will you sell here? I guess I'll kind of rephrase it. I don't know how exactly he was going for, but Will you sell any card, any condition, basically?
I mean, there's some cards that in damaged HP they're just not ever going to sell. That's a thing. I guess people like to buy damaged or HP stuff for like binder copies if that card is super expensive, right? So if people can pick up a Charizard in HP and they're going to slap it in and throw it in a binder, they don't care, right? And it's a good size discount where it makes sense. That's the kind of type of thing. But yeah, if it's already a 10-cent card in near mint, putting up a damaged HP one is probably not going to do pretty well. Yeah, I mean anything like the older hollows, stuff that's hard to find, and again are probably like in the plus 10 range. If you can put it on an HP and you're okay with selling it for like 3, that's probably worth it, I would say. Yeah. And like I said, if people are looking for that card and it's a hard one to find and they don't care about condition, and they're gonna be okay with saving money. The amount of HP like base set stuff and jungle and fossil and all that earlier WotC stuff that I sell in damage and HP and it flies like the next day. There's a lot of people out there just want any sort of copies of cards, especially the harder or more difficult or popular stuff. So yeah, don't be afraid to list a damage or HP thing, but yeah, something that's super obscure. Like I'm not going to list an Almanite in HP and expect it to sell if it's only a 50-cent card.
Yeah, and I think it really comes down to, guys, like obviously, yeah, the real cheap stuff, no, but don't be in like a rush. Don't be in a rush to get rid of things you don't have to. Especially, I mean, I've sold some HP cards that have actually went for like $10 or some XY cards that I got in collections. Whereas you'll see auctions ending at 99 cents and no one bids on it, or one person bids on it and that person gets 99 cents. It's like, if there's not on the market, and just feel free to list it. I mean, if you're getting 99 cents after shipping, you're basically making nothing. Sometimes it makes sense to sit, and even if it's just for 1, 2, 3 months, eventually it pays off and it builds inventory for you. Kind of my
and if they look through your inventory and they grab that with something else that's near mint or lightly played, and they say, oh, they got this too, and they'll pick it up, and you save on shipping that way. So it'll sell eventually.
So we covered a couple of these cardboard nerds at the beginning. He started about 8 years ago. So, and what motivated him? Well, I guess we didn't go what motivated you. And also, I didn't ask you this, but I really wanted to, though. What, if anything, would you do different today? What kind of mistakes do you think you made that you wouldn't have done? So what motivated you, and what would you do different today, Mason?
Yeah, I did not grow up wanting to be a business owner. Definitely. I did not. That was not the plan. But yeah, I mean, I just, I've always loved Pokemon. I obviously enjoyed it growing up. I always remember, like, I have this childhood memory of like sitting at the bus stop waiting for my bus to come to school, and I'm like, damn, if I had an Arcanine right now, extreme speed, I'd already be there. I'd be done. I'd be sitting there chilling, eating breakfast. So yeah, I just silly stuff like that. I just remember growing up with, and so Pokemon's always been like, something I've thought about and enjoyed the world, the lore of Pokemon. But just yeah, to be able to do something, and obviously an IP or a brand that you enjoy and you love, right? That's definitely a bonus and something that's cool. But yeah, even 8 years ago, Pokemon was not what it is now. So it was really just like, I have these and I'm interested in this, and there's opportunity there still. Not like there is now, but still was, a large portion of people that are still, get nostalgic and enjoy the older stuff. And even back then, I remember probably the set that really got me into it. I remember buying packs and going out and opening cards was like Black and White. Boundaries Crossed was probably like one of my favorite when like the first couple of like full arts started popping up. Those popped off. And then Plasma Freeze. That was a good set. Lugia and all those awesome like plasma Pokemon. All that stuff was super cool. So I'm super like I'm nostalgic for that, even though it wasn't like that long ago, because that's kind of when we got back into it with me and my kids playing, sitting down playing like through Fire Era and that type of stuff, and playing with the decks that existed at the time. So yeah, that's all super nostalgic for me, and that's what I enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say that's how I feel about XY era. It's like I think whenever you got in, originally, and then whenever you got in again, is both nostalgic times. Is there anything you do different?
Oh yeah, God, I mean, yeah, looking back, geez, there's tons of stuff that I would do differently. Like, I would never have sold a Charizard ever, and I would just have those in a box in the back of my store.
Well, more than like, yeah, obviously,
right? Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, I do think back and I think of like, hey, if I didn't go brick and mortar and I just kept doing it on the side and kind of like growing my business that way, what I'd be doing? If I'd still be flipping, or maybe I would have gave it up, and maybe I would never even made it to the boom or lasted that long, yeah, I think about stuff like that all the time. Of like, I think that is a legitimate way to just do this as a very lucrative side hustle. Even if you don't do it full time, you could. Obviously, there's tons of people that do and did before the boom, right? That sold and bought and sold all the time for a living. But now's a great time to be doing it. And even when I started in Black and White era, on the side buying collections locally, yeah, totally viable. And then grading wasn't really a thing back then, or at least wasn't mainstream. But now you have grading as an option to do and flip plays. Like, yeah. There's so many things that are different angles I could have done to that.
You don't do a lot of grading, right?
I do when I get good stuff in. Like I recently had this tag team set stuff that came in as super clean. I might send some of that stuff off. But I try not to. I have to be really choosy now, right? I mean, obviously we all have to be. We're not sending, every given ultra rare that comes through the door to grading. That's not a thing anymore. You have to be more selective. You have to be smarter about it. But there's definitely tons of things you still grade and make money on. Things that I buy it. I'm not buying at full price, so it makes more sense. I can be a little more lenient on what I send and what I don't than other people. But yeah, so I probably send out a couple subs. I would say probably every 2 or 3 months I send out a sub to PSA.
Okay.
And probably in the realm of like 30 to 40 cards. So not a ton. And I'll hold them for a little while, and then I'll send out a bunch at bulk and just wait, because I'm in no hurry, really, But,
yeah, it's just like another source of income.
Yeah.
Here's the question. The TCG Classic box. How many of you sold? 0 or hero? How is that thing doing?
I've sold 1 to myself.
What'd you do? Opening grade? Were those some of the cards you graded?
I opened the cards for singles. My Charizard had a huge dent in it out of the package, so I couldn't send it. My Blastoise had a scratch on the hollow, like I don't even know how it happened, but yeah. So both my big main cards were damaged. But so yeah, I just bought it just to have the cards. I think the cards are cool, and then I was gonna sell the cards out of it just so I could have like the play field, and the damage counters are really cool. I like those because they're metal and they're nice and they stack. Very unique. It's cool. I wish they made them in plastic, because that'd be cool.
It is a great product. I just wish it was a better price point.
It's a goofy product. It's kind of weird. It's very niche to where not anybody would want that, right? And if the cards weren't like gradable or like interesting, if it was just like 3 decks in there just randomly, that'd be such a terrible product, because nobody would want it. It's just so bizarre as a product standalone thing. But the unique howl pattern and the cool cards in there, obviously A lot of that product is bought and sold because of that, and for people that want to even just collect those cards, right? But yeah, what I think it's holding up pretty price wise. I think it's doing okay. It's not crazy, right? But it's
No, I think it's like low 300s, like 320,
yeah.
330
So,
last time I looked, maybe.
I mean,
Which is, I know it's more than what you paid for it, so.
yeah, I mean, but it's also that's a hell of a box to have to ship, so it's kind of a
Yeah.
But that's how everything is. Like these days, if you can get anything and it breaks even after shipping, like okay, cool. I guess that's where the price is going to be.
Yeah. Hey, Pokey-san had a good question.
Yeah.
Glad to see her in here. What do you think about TikTok shopping platform? Their fees currently 2% plus 30, but effective July 31st, it's going to 8%, which is still lower. So do you utilize TikTok shop at all? I know you said earlier you make TikToks. Do you sell them there?
Yeah. We had our Shopify backend actually integrates with TikTok Shop now, which is cool. I've been selling some more Locana boxes that way. That's cool. But other than that, there's not like nothing crazy. It definitely helps if you're on the back end or in TikTok and making videos and stuff. It definitely helps. But yeah, I don't like go live and sit there and talk about Pokemon to try to farm people buying stuff. But I know people do, and that's an option that you can do, and that's cool. People that do. I think any sort of options, any sort of different avenues to get your name out there to get to other people that would not buy your stuff otherwise is good, right? That's a plus. It's just it's like Whatnot or anything else. Is it worth your time, or is it the best way to be? Is it really better than just throwing something on eBay and letting it sit there, or being competitive and selling it that way? I don't know. It really depends on if it makes sense to you and how many more coupons they're going to throw at people. Because all the Lorcana boxes I sold were because people have like 20% off and stuffed coupons too. So yeah, that kind of stuff definitely helps the sales now. July 1st, are they going to keep throwing coupons at people? Probably not. I don't know. Well, maybe with the fees, I don't know. Maybe they will. I don't know. It's crazy, right? We'll see what happens. But
yeah, it's got to run out eventually, right?
Yeah, I mean, for all these things that pop up, it's always good for a little while, right? And then they can't stop, or they have to stop losing money, right? Eventually, so they go and they become better or worse than what eBay is. So you might as well just keep selling on eBay. It's just, yeah, I'm gonna stay there while the eating's good, just like with TCGs that come up that are new. If I can make money, I'm gonna do it. If not, it's fine. I can always just go back to eBay. It's fine.
Pete Datchu's in the house.
Well,
Good to
Pete.
see Mason here. Evo Me says, what is the most expensive card or sealed product you've ever sold?
Yeah. I had a first ed Charizard that was beat that I sold in the boom. That was nice. And then going into the pandemic, probably like I would say August, right at the end of summer. So it must have been like August, probably July, August. Somebody walked in my doors with a first ed jungle box. That was pretty sick. Completely depleted my bank account to buy that thing. But obviously it paid off because I was able to sell it into the boom because it took off and went crazy. And
What'd you get for that?
I sold it for like 24.
Got more than me.
24 cash. Dude came in with cash and bought it. So yeah, did okay on that.
That's more than me. My most expensive box I sold was the base set, and I only got $22,500 for it during the
wow.
So that was good.
Still good. I mean,
oh yeah, but I mean that's crazy. I didn't get that much for first edition jungle.
Yeah, it was like I said, locally cash. That was really great.
Man, that's awesome.
That's probably up there. I mean, it's probably the single most expensive item for sure. Probably.
Yeah, and then you'll talk to other people like Dan, and he'll have some $100,000 sale he made or something.
Yeah, no trophies or anything like that. I've had nothing like that. But yeah.
You got any big goals for the next 5 years? Are you gonna just start popping
5
up
years?
CardNAllGamings everywhere? Are we gonna have are you gonna be like a big tycoon? Are you gonna be a mogul?
I wouldn't mind a couple other stores, but I don't know. I do want to just keep building the base and again grow to being not just a Louisville brand. I want to be at least somewhat competitive nationally or thought of nationally. I think that's really where I'd like to be. Yeah, that's really the goal for this year. Next 5 years, who knows? But Ryan, I'd love to be in business in 5 years. How about that? Is that if I'm in business in 5 years, I'll probably be doing okay still. So I'm happy with that.
Christian's trying to gauge the sword and shield market. He wants to know if you can still order any from distribution right now.
There are for Silver Tempest and Lost Origin. They're about done. They're about tapped. I think I can get build and battles of those, or the build battle stadiums. I can get those still. Booster boxes. I think I can get Silver Tempest. Lost Origins is about done. I mean, Lost Origins. I think we're about to see Lost Origin probably move the most in this year, probably.
Is that investment advice?
I don't know if we want to call it investment advice, but if I had to bet on a horse, I really like Lost Origin.
So you don't, even when you have those feelings, you still don't kind of hold anything for a few months, 6 months, nothing.
Nah,
not worth it, huh?
I mean, I would just buy Lost Origin and then I'd sell it in store for like 10% above what I paid for it, and then do it again. That's how it operates. That's how it goes.
Here's the question on everyone's mind lately with all the negativity surrounding Pokemon.
Sure.
Have you seen an increase or decrease in Pokemon since Scarlet Violet Era?
Just what a broad question, Alex.
Like in terms of, speaking in terms of, sales, in terms of like traffic in the shop, in terms of people coming in to play the game, like, does it just feel like it's less, or does it feel like it's still trucking along? What do you think? 'Cause, I mean, guys, Scarlet and Violet, we've had 151, and I don't know about you, but I've had tons of people reach out saying they just got back into Pokemon with 151. So for some of the sets that have been bad in Scarlet and Violet, 151's really been strong. So, I mean, you tell us. I mean, what do you
Alex,
think?
I don't want to brag, but I have 151 packs in my store. I sell them for $8 all day long. $8 a pack. Yep. So
how many UPC? 17?
16.
16.
Yeah. So it goes off of each set. Each set is different, obviously. I don't know the last time I sold a base Scarlet and Violet box, but I've sold Paldean Evolved. I've sold Paradox Rift very, very well. That's probably the best selling of the Scarlet and Violet era for sure. Have my orders in general just been lower? Absolutely, yes. Like, that's a no-brainer. I've been ordering less boxes for sure. But the game has changed to where it's not about hoarding it all at once. I don't have to do that anymore because it's so widely available across at any given time. I can buy any of these sets. So there's no reason to sit out and go out there and hoard boxes, because I'm just going to order a case here and there. And that's how it should be. That's how it used to be. That's how TCGs should operate. It's very not the norm to at jump things to sell out. That is not good. Not for the long term of a product.
What was the so when things started to change? You know how it used to be. You set would come out in Sword and Shield, and you would just throw some stupid number at them. Say, I need 500 cases, and you'd hope to get like a quarter of that or whatever it would be.
Yeah.
So what do you remember? What do you think was the set where things changed and you threw some crazy number and they said, okay, filled? Do you remember?
The first set that happened with was Lost Origin was definitely like pretty good. I don't even that it was weird because Lost Origin was better, and then Silver Tempest was worse.
Okay.
Because I think it was coming in waves as well, but it was a pretty good first wave. So it just kind of varies. It varies on probably.
Just going into Scarlet and Violet when
I mean, Crown Zenith was really bad.
Yeah.
I couldn't get anything for Crown Zenith, but specialty sets are always that way. Scarlet and Violet was probably like the real oh, It's always bad if I put in a crazy number and they say, oh yeah, okay, we can get you all that, and it's like, oh, that's not. Hold on, wait. Because you just know that if I got all my stuff, everybody got all their stuff, right? So everybody that put in these stupid crazy numbers, because people don't learn, they don't understand, they don't get that. You can't spend $40,000 at the beginning of a set and then expect to make that money in a month. It's not. You're not going to do it. You have to go over the length of the product the entire time and make your money that way. It's not how it used to be the past 2 years. That is the norm. That is how it should be. I order probably half of what I expect to sell through at the beginning of a set. And then again, I just every 2-3 weeks, I'll order a case or 2 or 3 here and there. And then that's how I keep stock. I don't have crazy numbers of product. My big wall of booster boxes doesn't exist. That's not a thing. I probably have less than 50 booster boxes across all my Pokemon sets right now.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's just why. Why do I have to hoard it? I don't need to. I can order anything at any given time.
Yeah. About 151, is there any news? More product coming? I think more product already kind of came.
Yeah, ETBs got hit. I was able to get more of that. And then
those are kind of stopping though, right? The UPCs are kind of plentiful. The ETBs are less plentiful.
UPCs seem to be like forever. I don't know what it is. I don't know what. It seems like there can't be more UPCs than there is ETBs, but it sure feels that way. It just seems like it's never ending. Yeah. They just have stock of that stuff forever. I did not expect the UPCs to be the first things that get broken down, above like an ETB, but you do. That's what you do. You break down those. So, ETBs, UPCs, anything else? I don't see anything else though. I would love like binders. I love the binder collection. That's probably my favorite of anything from 151. I think the binder was just so cool. It was a genius idea because people want to build binder sets. Duh. Like it's such a no-brainer product. It's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the UPCs, it's just like, it really doesn't make sense. The cost per pack, the promos still sell relatively well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
From a front end perspective, yeah, paying 120 for 16 of 151 kind of feels bad. I mean, not really. It really doesn't. But
well, you said they're paying $8 a pack. You might as well get 3 promos and a playmat.
Yeah, I'm just saying from a buyer perspective that it's people don't also have $120 to spend on Pokemon right now. They don't. So you want to buy what is that, $25 for 3 packs, or you want to be out 120 for 16? A lot of the time, people, because even if it is the worst deal, they're gonna buy the 3. It's just the way things are right now.
Well, let's take this question and kind of expand on it. So,
sure.
He asks, do you think Pokemon can create a new hype boom in no time? If they just print a bit less, cost of demand is still insane. But I kind of want to go further and what is your kind of long-term outlook? Like, where do you see things going in the future? Do you think it's just going to be kind of back to normal, steady grind, steady, rise in values over time? Do you think we will, see some new crazy stuff? Like, where do you see the hobby going, man?
Yeah, we ain't done. Pokemon is never done. I just think that Pokemon is so smart how they do things. I think that I could be nitpicky and say that they've done a couple things that I don't agree with, but overall, even the things I thought were wrong, they were totally right on. Like there's so many things that they are just so good about, especially Pokemon International. Pokemon Japan that's a mixed bag, but Pokemon International, they're pretty smart. They're pretty good. It's hard to fault them at all, and they're just gonna keep going. Like they know what they're doing. They've been at it. The people that are in charge of set design in Japan are the best in the business. I've never seen a game as so finely crafted right now. Meta wise, there's so many open decks. There's so many viable decks right now, and it's just getting better. Rotation is going to happen, and then it's going to get even more better because it's just better stuff that's coming out. They're structurally, the game is better than it's ever been. Like that's me, like being hand on the Bible. Like that's me being truthful. The game sense of the game of the TCG has never been better. It's just so fun right now. And then as far as like the set compositions, you can argue that Obsidian Flames was a bad set, but it also crept above $100 on TCG Player right before Christmas. So is it really that bad? Who knows, right? Because that wouldn't happen if that was the case. So
you can't find it. I mean, you can't find Obsidian Flames cheap. I mean, it's not like the other sets. You can't find it in the 80s or low 90s.
It's still one of my best-selling things. It's right alongside right now Paradox Rift, and Obsidian Flames sells about the same as far as pack for pack. And
there's definitely a huge disconnect in the online Poke sphere and people
10,000%. 10,000.
Yeah, I mean,
we
just don't get it. We don't get the players and the casual collectors.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've talked about this on a live here recently, but it's just like, if you watched 2 hours of content from you, from me, you are better informed than the most casual person walking in my door. You just are. People don't know what the sets are. People don't know what the Pokemon are in the set. Kids don't know. Kids don't know. Kid knows what PokeRev is opening, and they might know things from that way. But other than that, they don't know. They don't care, and that's the real truth of it too. They don't care. I would guarantee that when somebody walks into my door and they look at my case of singles, they don't care about the value of something is. They don't care if something's a good value. They see that Tyranitar from the new set, they think it's awesome. They're going to buy it. Doesn't matter what the price is. Within reason. Let's not go crazy. They're not going to pay $100 for that card. But within reason, they're going to buy it. The Magikarp from Paldean Evolved, the black one with the Gyarados in the background, and it's really cool, the stylized one. They love that card too. So, it doesn't matter what the price is. Somebody walks in, they see that card in my case, it looks good, and they're going to buy it. Nobody walks into my store with a list of stuff. Maybe if they're building a binder or something, right? But other than that, they'll say, hey, my son, he loves Snorlax. How much of these Snorlax cards did you have? Other than that, there's not really a whole lot of planning. They just come in, they see something that they cool, and they buy it. They like it. It's not, there's not any structure, all this, nuance that you want to go into about what people are doing and buying from a floor level of the most casual buyers, the people that go into Walmarts and Targets and buying. They don't care. They don't know what's in the sets. They don't care. They look at the pack art. They might, see, like I said, PokeRev or some videos on that. And that's what they get their information from. That's the baseline knowledge for 50% of the people out there, and then the rest of it may be somewhere in between that and maybe a higher level. But honestly, for the most part, it's very casual. It's very not high stressed. They buy things because they like them, and that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, we definitely try to get too cute with it. It's honestly just really easy. Just stick with the.
Well, and there's things to that. At this level of making okay, if you want to project long term, right? Yeah, you need that kind of thought process of okay, this has this in it, so long term this is going to be sought after or desired or something like that. But from the here and now, from my perspective, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. It's the newest set. The next set's going to have baby shinies in it. People say it's going to be trash. Kids don't think it's trash. People love pulling a baby shiny every 3 packs. They love that. They eat that up. So yeah.
I just think back to all the way back to the beginning. If every set, every single set ever was released, if you just saw the set and said, well, I'm going to buy the top rarities of the most popular Pokemon. I'm going to buy the Charizards and the Gengars and the Blastoise and Mewtwo's, and it was right. It's just it's really that simple.
Yeah, I mean, and I tell people too all the time, if you like it and you think it's cool, other people do too. If you pick the top 10 cards out of the past couple sets that you really like, I'm going to say that there's probably going to be an 80% overlap with other people, right? Also like those cards. It's not that difficult as far as what people like and what the eye appeal is to it, right? Like Zebo just said, he loves Paldean Fates. Paldean Fates is probably going to be very well. It's going to do great. I think people try to sit back and they try to compare it to other things and see what things did and the value of things. And they don't think about how people feel when they look at cards, as opposed to just what they buy with as far as the dollar amount, right?
This question was asked earlier. I guess I never asked it. Paldean Fates, are you I mean, I guess you kind of said it already, but I guess you're not going too heavy because you'll probably just be able to buy more. I'm guessing, right?
Well, Paldean Fates it's a specialty set, so it comes in waves, right? So that's really something that we have to think about too. We could see a short run where the ETBs, they might pop off a little bit and go up in price because it's the only thing that's going to be out other than the 3-pack blisters things. So those might pop off a little bit. And for good reason. It's a beautiful ETB. It's probably my favorite ETB they ever made.
Yeah, it is good looking.
Yeah, I love Mimikyu. He's one of my favorites of the new guys. So the promo is crazy. Like, that's such a good card. So it's a good box. It's a good box, and I think people are going to like it. Yeah, it's going to really just come down to the set composition, how common things are, and how fun it is to open. For specialty sets, for something that baby shines are not going to be valuable. There's nobody out there that's going to say these are the top 5 baby shines to invest in Paldean Fates. You might, but why? Why? They're going to be, every single one of them is going to be less than $10. Guaranteed.
Yeah, even looking back at Hidden Fates, some of the top baby shinies with the most popular Pokemon, I mean, Charmeleon, the Scythers, they're still not that valuable.
Right. So you can go and you can think about it like that, or you can just say, hey, these are going to be good cards that people like to enjoy. And so long as they're having fun opening packs, they're going to buy packs. These small little sets like this, these are like a live streamer's dream because they're so fun to open and they're so rewarding for people to open. I'll probably do live breaks of it just for the fun of it because it's very hard to get a Feels Bad pack out of a Shiny Fates or Paldean Fates if it's anything like that. And people say, and they trash on Shining Fates all the time. I put those ETBs out on the shelf, they sell. They still sell. All these days, there's not a damn card in there that's worth a damn. But people still love that box, and they buy the crap out of it. So, again, it's not always about the value of things that are in it. People see things, they like it, they buy it.
Yeah. So what's your schedule like with the game store? You guys open 5-6 days a week, 7 days a week?
No, we do. Yeah, we're 7 days a week.
You're 7 days.
Yeah, we do 7 days, but because we ship with TCG Player, you kind of have to do. You got to be open, especially during the week. And then we kind of we live for the weekends, so a lot of people come in. 80% of our foot traffic is on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So,
do you take any time off ever?
I mean, it's not how it used to be. We used to keep really late hours, but really we only do one night a week where we're open till 10, and then the other days we close at 8. So it's really not. For what it's worth, Walmart's are 24 hours. Why do I have to be even close to 24 hours? It's just not. It's not. The schedules aren't built out that way anymore, and that's just not how life is. So, I have days off. I do.
Do what? What about you personally? I mean, do you take days off?
I don't. On my off days, I'm working. It's just one of those things where I don't. I'm so ingrained in doing this, and I enjoy it. I do genuinely still enjoy stuff with the business that what else would I rather be doing?
Your wife and kids, they come help you and stuff?
She likes to, she'll drag me away and say, hey, you've been doing that for too long, which is a good thing to also have. So, but yeah, it's hard to balance because you do want to be just continually rolling, right? And trying to get better and better and better. So, that's the hardest part is balancing as an owner. Again, no one's going to care as much as I do. If I notice something, nobody else is going to notice it because that's the way I look at it. People walk into my store and say, man, you have a great store. It's beautiful. And I just see all the things that are wrong with it, right? And all the things that need to be fixed. It's just, that is my nature, right? And that's probably the nature of everybody that runs a business, Well,
that's probably why you're successful, though.
Well, I don't know. I don't, a little bit of luck, a little bit of never ceasing to work, I guess, is really what it comes down to.
I mean, if you're content and then look around and think everything's perfect when, half the things aren't, I mean, that's usually when things start really, really going downhill.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to be complacent, but yeah. There's lots of stuff that we can always do, but that's anything, right? You can always be better.
But you ever watch Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay?
Yeah.
Dude, that's what you should go end up doing something like that where you go into game stores and just fix everything they got going wrong.
Wow, that'd be
a YouTube.
Alex,
YouTube
now we're
series.
talking. That's the $100,000 subscriber channel. Hold on, let's do this.
Yeah, put that down. Where people just ride into you and say, "Hey, I'm about to go out of business. I'm failing." You've already said you already had a bunch around you. If they would have just had you come in and consult them,
who knew?
they might still be running.
People would watch the heck out of that.
I would.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, that'd be good. Well, no, man. What? Anything else you wanted to touch on tonight? I know we've been going a little while.
I don't know. I feel like we didn't do a lot of investing talk. You anybody in chat? What do you guys want to know?
You don't like investing.
I don't, but I'd like to think I'm pretty good at it.
Oh yeah,
I've done pretty good in my own personal stuff.
What do you mean?
Like playable stuff or things that I think are undervalued, or stuff that card singles wise. I think there's lots of great buying opportunities out there. Like all of the trainer gallery stuff, like from the Sword and Shield sets. Man, there's so many opportunities there. There's so many cards that are undervalued. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Do you invest in like single cards or like?
I don't, but I can look at cards and be like, man, this card's too cheap. I see it all the time. I say it to myself all the time.
You've been right quite a bit.
Not all the time, but like at the time that Cosmic Eclipse came out, and all those cards were in that with the trainers on them. I was like, man, these cards are super cheap. This is dumb. How cheap these are. You can see it from a mile away.
This might be controversial, but Mason, you clearly are in the business of reselling. Do you think we're all crazy hoarding sealed modern product?
I do. I really do. I mean, is it crazy? No, but look.
Say it.
How can I say this, Alex? Let me see it.
You can say it however you want.
I think it is. There's definitely worse things to be buying into because Pokemon is just so proven, right? You can buy into a set, given enough time, it's going to go up, right? It's not a law, but it damn well nearly is, right? But I think a lot of people buy things maybe too early, and they think they're going to sit on it and it's going to appreciate. I think if people just looked into the data a little bit more, were able to analyze things and see, you can kind of predict. And if you learn the cycles of how things are made and follow the print waves and watch the ups and downs, you can be smarter about it than buying Fusion Strike off the rip and maybe doing more with money or being smarter about it than if you just sat on that same product for 3 or 4 years before you started to see a return.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the nicest way I can say it.
You're saying
that's the nicest way I could say it.
So you're saying you're not really against it. You're saying if someone's going to do it to be more successful with it is to give a little time out of the gate before you start moving into positions?
Well, your channel is all about people that have no experience in it, right? Or it's easy, right? Or
just like
anybody can do it.
It's accessible for everyone. Anyone can do it. Whereas like a lot of the older stuff, it can be hard to find. It can be hard to if you're really in the niches, you have to really get knowledgeable about stuff what you're looking for. Whereas with modern sealed product, it's pretty accessible. Yeah. It's proven to go up. Up till now, things like that.
Yeah. And that's fine. That's not like it's not a bad take at all. Again, eventually things.
Let's take Lost Origin, right? We mentioned Lost Origin, so Lost Origin, right? It just had its most likely final reprint, dropped in value.
Sure.
Would you say that was probably a good pickup after the reprint when they dropped in the 110s, 120s, whatever it was?
Yes, but buying it off the rip was probably not the play, right? Because they were still at MSRP at the time.
Right.
It is very difficult with standard sets to know where the floor is. But once you understand, especially like now, as things get older and towards the end of their life in the standard cycle, right, the print cycle, it's far more easier just to wait until right before it rotates out and then buy it, because it's going to be at the absolute floor. Because nobody wants it anymore. As it ages, nobody wants it. And if it stays plentiful, unless it sells out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Standard sets are going to be fine. And they're going to be plentiful, and they're going to be the cheapest right before they start to uptick, right? I mean, that's how floors work. But the last couple of years have been so difficult because you never know when print waves are going to happen, when it's going to go up or down, how much you're going to print. You know, it's that is the craziest time to be like, now, buy it now. It's very difficult because the buying pattern has always been just wait before it rotates and then buy it, and then it has nowhere else to go but up because they're not going to make any more of it.
So why don't you do that?
The way to go. Why don't I do that?
Yeah.
Again, just because the rate of return is probably not still, even at then, wouldn't be better than me just rolling money.
Do you invest anywhere else, like outside of Pokemon, like retirement accounts, stock market?
Me personally, no.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So you're 100% focused on growing the business.
I have to be. Yeah.
Which is not honestly what the most successful entrepreneurs do in the world is they go all in on their business usually.
All eggs are in the basket. Yeah.
Yeah. No one takes money and puts it in a Roth IRA or something when they're trying to grow a business.
Sure. Yeah.
That makes sense. So you kind of think we're all crazy, but if we do it a little differently, we're not as crazy.
At the time that you guys did it, with again, like Fusion Strike, all these past Sword and Shield sets, it was just very turbulent time. A lot could go wrong because nobody knows what the hell is going to happen, right? And when the next reprint could eventually happen. Now saying that, hey, pick up Sword or Lost Origin, pick up Silver Tempest because it's not coming back because it's at the end of its life cycle. Well, it's not at the end, but it's crest, right? They're probably not going to print a whole lot more, and if they do, it's not going to be a lot. So it makes sense now to be saying that type of stuff. It's just when a set releases, go buy it. That's scary. That's scary to me.
I have a question then. So if someone walked in your store and they wanted your opinion and said, out of this whole set, out of all these products, and I want to keep one of them sealed, which one should I buy? You think it's still the booster box?
Oh, I think booster boxes are always going to be the way to go.
Okay.
How
do you feel about the Pokemon Center ETBs?
I mean, those are great. I mean, I don't get the hype with those, honestly. I don't really understand. I think they're a little bit...
Man. Got the stamped promo.
I think they're a little overblown for what they are. I think they're a little bit too investor boy, stonk 420-ish to get into like that. I just think they're probably a little inflated for what they are. I think in the next couple sets, especially with Scarlet Violet, I don't know if they've been doing, but I think those are going to be not quite as crazy right out the gate as what the other sets have been. But you can also make an argument for those sets. Give it 2 or 3 years. People are going to be so nostalgic for Sword and Shield. It's going to be crazy. So maybe that was a good play. Maybe I'm an idiot. You just don't. You never know. And that's the hardest part about doing all this is there's no way to really know. And the safest way to be is just to be conservative about it. So that's just me.
Mason hit his soul and told him better options. And then he says, even Pokey and even Brian mentioned he's going to make a lot less. Alex's advice ain't getting y'all nowhere, guys.
Oh.
Don't listen to Alex.
What a way to spend a Monday night. Just coming on here and just saying mean things.
It's fun, man. Like I said, it's fun.
I don't care.
So singles though, like if you were gonna
singles are a different thing. Singles are now we're talking.
Yeah, so if you were gonna step away, I mean, do you kind of look for the same type of stuff with singles? Like when after the hype dies down, and after whatever it is, 6 months, a year. I mean, would you ever look to pick some of those up?
Yes.
Yes.
I am personally looking at Turner Gallery stuff for myself. Again, stuff that's stupid cheap, doesn't make sense, and beautiful cards. I think timeless cards that are going to do well. I think Sleepy Pika is the like pinnacle card to be like, this card has no business being a $2 to $3 card.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Yeah, I mean, the
to me,
Brilliant Card Trainer Gallery, a lot of those are just dirt cheap.
it just makes no sense to me that those are so cheap, even for as common as and that's really what it is. It's just the market's just so saturated with them. But as soon as they stop hitting the market, products stop getting opened, they start finding their way into collections, and they stay there. Nobody's opening packs anymore. Nobody's flipping the products. No one's selling the singles anymore. They're finding their ways into binders, and they get stuck in the closets, under beds. Those prices for those cards, the inventory, the stock on TCG Player is going to go lower and lower and lower, and the prices are going to go higher and higher and higher. And it's going to happen like that.
Yeah. What about the big ones, though? What about the big boys? The Moonbryons, the Giratinas, Rayquazas, Charizards, all them, the alt arts. We've seen a massive drop on them recently.
Alex is asking for a 5 years down the line. I think all those cards have a turbulent future. I think they're going to go. I think they have a way to go down before they go back up.
Still further.
Yes, I think the Lugia alt art, especially, I think that Lugia alt art could hit $50.
$50.
Absolutely. It's almost already there. It's
what, because of all the God boxes and all that stuff.
The God packs and all that. Yeah. If I was buying that, I do like that card. I think.
Oh yeah.
That card is very good. I think it has some legs, but I think it has a ways to go still before I don't think we're at the floor.
Mainly that one or all of them?
That card in particular is what I was talking about.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
I am very, I have a lot of faith in the Giratina alt art. I love that card. It's probably one of my favorite modern cards. I love Shinji Ito and his art. I think that's probably one of the most standout cards of the past couple years. I like it a lot. But I don't know what it's going to do. That's just me. So I have to acknowledge my bias on that.
Well, no, I mean, it makes sense. It's like with those other cards, the risk level is so low. They're already so low. Like you said, $1, $2 cards.
Right.
It's a lot different than buying a card that's $100 or $100+ There's so much further to go. It's just like buying an old a mid-era or vintage card that even though it fell from $10,000 to $5,000, it's still $5,000.
Right. But then you look like Alex P just said about the Gengar alt art from like that card popped off out in the middle of nowhere, and there's no way to know, right? Yeah, all these modern cards, they have very turbulent times before I think they hit floor, and that's just because.
What do you think?
People are going back and buying them. Evolving Skies. We all know the writing's on the wall for that set. How low do those cards go before that inventory on TCG Player is gone, and then it has nowhere else to go but up? It's one of those things where it's very difficult to. You have to watch inventory levels and you have to watch sell-through rate on TCG Player. You have to be watching those very, very closely before you make those types of calls. And that's like with stocks or anything else, right? You watch how often they're traded and the prices for those things. It's all the same kind of stuff because all those things play factor in the value. Once you start doing that kind of stuff, and you start doing that kind of nitty-gritty kind of analysis, then you can kind of feel better about your decisions. But all that stuff is very technical. It's very hard, and it takes a lot of effort. And people don't like to work and put that effort in. So,
if you had to guess, just like your opinion, what do you think it is? I can give my opinion, but what do you think it is that causes these spikes in these random cards or random sealed products? I mean, do you think it is larger buyers or investors trying to manipulate the market? Do you think it's just influencers or random people talking about it that causes large influxes of people into it? Do you think it is people just paying attention to those sales and those sell-through rates, and they see it hitting certain spots, and it causes the word to go out on certain Discords or Facebook groups or whatever it is, and people pile in? What do you think it is? Get the cabal hat up.
There are definitely some circles that have the discussions, sometimes on a weekly basis. But that's all paid content, and you don't get to hear it from me. But no, I mean, obviously there's people that do watch this stuff very, very closely, and they they have a price in mind where they say, I'm going to wait until it hits this, and then I'm going to buy it. And then I'm going to buy them all. There are people that do that. Absolutely.
And then what? Enough people, I guess, do the same thing as them and follow along, and it's enough to move the market.
Yeah, it happens. It has happened, right? I mean, the textbook.
I just wanted to hear you say it.
The textbook thing was people with the full art, the full art trainers. Like that is exactly what happened.
No, I just wanted to hear you say it. That's all.
I know. Part of that was organic. Part of that is true interest, right? Yeah, it's like the whole boom in general was just, it just takes a little bit of tweaking, a little spark to kick things off. And sometimes that's all it takes.
It's amazing that to mention market manipulation by like a group of people is like so taboo, but it happens in every single market and every single facet of life. Like every single stock gets manipulated at different times. It should be common knowledge. I don't know why it's a taboo or controversial subject, but it is what it is.
I mean, it's not even, it doesn't even have to be just necessarily just all like super shady, like
no
Illuminati-esque groups. Sometimes it's just people say, man, they look at something and they say, man, that's too cheap for what this is, and they buy it. It's just, sometimes it really is just that simple. For as many millions of these cards that exist, how many Moonbrowns exist? Probably, what, 250,000 Moonbrowns out there? I don't really know, but that's probably pretty close. There's only so many on the market at any given time. And then the card stays at the price if somebody buys them all out, right? And then that's the new floor. It doesn't matter that somebody couldn't immediately just dump them all back into the market, right? But sometimes they don't. If they're really smart, they don't. They let it and they trickle them out and works the price back down. It's with anything, with a seller pool and the buyer pool being constantly in flux. Those things happen. Sometimes it's organically, sometimes it's not. We can leave it at that.
We can leave it at that. I like it. Oh, that's so funny. No, I mean, honestly, like, you're right, though. It can't happen organically. Like, it's as simple as, sure, one person telling a small group of people, and then they tell their groups of friends, and it's kind of like the telephone game. It just keeps going farther and farther. And,
Cheval said it's part of the charm. It is part of the charm of the hobby that sometimes things can just pop off.
And you never know when it's going to happen or what it's going to happen on.
Right.
That's the greatest part.
I mean, look at textbook classic examples. Well, not classic examples, but examples from the past couple of years, right? The Machamp Alt-Art. A card that a lot of people speculate that it was manipulated and from the get-go has been. And the price for that card is still stupid for what it is. Aerodactyl. The Alt-Art from Aerodactyl. The only thing PokeRev didn't pull. Oh my god, it must be super rare. And it's still, to this day, is overinflated in price. It's just silly. It's just, and then you say, okay, PokeRev didn't pull it. That means people want to buy it, right? Is it organic? I don't know if it's organic, but people want to buy it. People do, the desire is there just to buy it because it's rare, right? So it's true demand. People truly do want that card because they want it, right? Not necessarily because they want to manipulate the price, and then, so people buy it. The price maintains. People sell back, or it goes up. And the people that bought it just because they were speculating on it sell it back, and it's a whole moving thing all the time. And because we have so many cards moving in and out at any given time, and on a marketplace like eBay on TCG Player, where anybody can do anything at any time, it's going to happen. It's just, again, Cheval said it the best. I do like that. It's just part of the charm. It's part of the charm of the hobby.
So how many of these schemes do you get caught up in? How much does CardNAllGaming get into the pump and dumps?
I don't participate, but I do enjoy watching it happen.
So you just watch in the shadows and listen to the combos, and you just know it's coming, but you don't get involved.
It's part of the charm.
Part of the charm. I see. All right. Were there any words of wisdom that you can leave my audience with?
Words of wisdom. Well, I don't know. What I said earlier was actually probably some of the best advice. If you really want to do like nitty gritty, technical, like looking into like actually like predicting, you're looking at sales through rates and you're looking at how many are listed, how many sell of those cards happen per day, per week, per month. Speculate it out, build it out, do the math. For the inventory to deplete, if no more cards got listed, how long does it take for the price to sell out?
Or boxes.
Or boxes, or yeah, whatever it is. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. That type of information and that type of knowledge of how many are listed today versus next week versus the sales from this week to the next week, from last week, all that stuff you're able to predict and see and guess.
And so I know you don't invest, but do you ever take advantage of that information and stock up your inventories for those situations?
Yes.
I like it.
Sometimes.
I like it.
Very often. And because I have a special layer on top of that, being a direct seller, very often in direct, I can sell things for a lot higher. Sometimes twice the price. And that's just because of how many sellers on direct have them listed and how many are listed that amount versus people that have it listed normally. And again,
so why does direct get that kind of premium?
Because on direct, you can buy from TCG Player and you can have it shipped to you immediately. And then I ship those cards to TCG Player to replenish their stock. But if you want to order like a bunch of stuff, or if you want to order just like, I want 200 of whatever it is, right? Doesn't matter what it is. You can buy from TCG Player Direct, buy out their quantity, and then all that product gets taken off from direct sellers and it gets depleted. It doesn't matter what everybody else has it sold for. Direct is the only people that matter in that pool. So even I don't have to be the most cheapest card because I'm going to get that premium because people that use direct, that's the pool that they're pulling from if they want that order filled right then and there from direct. So that is kind of like my little step up. Yeah, I get eaten up in fees, but sometimes it works out in my favor. Like the other day, the Scarlet and Violet base Ralts. There's a Ralts, there's a Curly, and there's a Gardevoir, like the family with the.
Yeah, those are. So I made a video about that card. It's a really hard card to grade and holds a big premium.
It is. I mean, Scarlet and Violet was a terrible set for card condition. So yeah, to have the trio of those cards is very difficult to get. So that card was like, I think it was like $860. It was lowest listed at the time. I sold that card for $20 on direct. Just being the direct seller.
So you don't even compete with the regular sellers, you compete with the direct sellers.
Nah.
Do you guys sell any inventory yourself still?
Do I sell what?
Like, I mean, are your other singles and stuff, do you sell anything like listed at regular prices, or is everything sent at direct now?
Yeah, your inventory is direct. Like, it doesn't matter a card as far you can't like opt a card into it. It's just direct all the time. So
so if you opt into TCG Player Direct, 100% of your inventory list is
all of your inventory is direct. It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. So
you never ship an envelope now out yourself, a single envelope.
I do. You can buy my inventory off of direct and just pay it like you would anything. But yeah, a lot of our inventory, I'd say probably 85% of our sales probably go through direct. It's that high. Yeah.
Why don't we share a screen real quick? I'm a little confused.
I'm sorry for the confusion.
No, I want to understand how this works a little more. All right, I'm gonna share this. So,
do you want to look at that card in particular?
TCG Player. Okay, so what do you mean by like? So I'll just search that card.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, look at the Ralts. It's gonna be that one right there.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So see that buyer's box at the very, very top?
Yeah.
That is the lowest price from a direct seller. Only direct people can be in that buy box right there. And if you see on that card, that's only lightly played.
Well, I guess it's about the same price, lowest price. These are all Japanese.
Right. But that one up there is lightly played.
Oh.
See how it's near mint now? It's $12.
Wow, you're right. Okay.
So
there's only one available.
Right. So compare that one to what's the lowest listed on the other one? For near mint now?
$964 plus shipping.
So that's what? almost like a 15-20% bump
20%, yeah.
for being just on direct. And again, you get the buy box right there.
So my question is there somewhere you can click to like just buy from direct?
When you go to your cart and you like build out your cart, you can have it just pull from direct sellers. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
But if you go down to in the last sold right there, where it says view more data, you can kind of scroll through and see how there's like random ones that are selling for like $17.
Yeah.
Like that one right there, right there.
So that's probably
that's a direct seller.
Yeah, these
people just pay a premium
1260s
on direct.
Gotcha. 1266 and then 899 right after it. Oh, that's a light play. Wow, light play went for 1266.
Yeah. So see, it's just kind of.
And so what? I'm confused though. What is the benefit for a buyer to buy from direct only and not?
Because when you buy direct, you get all that stuff at once, and if you buy a certain amount of I think it's like $20 on direct, you get it shipped with tracking. Whereas if you're buying from a bunch of different sellers,
yeah,
you probably more than likely would only get it through envelope, and it would take like 2 weeks to get there.
Right.
So direct works because they get it all at once in one package, shipped to them, and people will pay a premium on that. I mean, I would. Sometimes if I'm building a 100-card deck on like Commander for Magic, I'm going to buy direct. Absolutely. I don't want to wait for all that shit to come in for 2 weeks. Yeah. That'd be crazy.
Or you're trying to complete a set.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of the time, that's why direct works, and that's why direct is an amazing program for sellers, because I get.
And then what, TCG Player, what, every like couple of days they send you a list of everything you need to send in to replace your.
Yeah, inventory? I mean, I can actually show you on my screen if we. I think I can show this. I don't think this is like. This definitely isn't paywall information, so we can show it.
What do you mean? What do you mean paywall? Do you have your own Patreon?
No, I'm not. That's a joke. You're on direct. You can see they send you what's called reimbursement invoices. So this is like you can see my progress that I have with all these things. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, they send you a list of cards. So you can click on this bad boy and go to oh yeah, let me go print. We'll print this. Can you see this page? No.
So all those are cards they sold.
So these are cards that I sold on direct for this with the RI. So you can see like I've sold 7 of that card. 4 of these. And these are probably going to be super cheap cards, like probably 50 cents, 20 cents, 15 cents, something crazy. But, I don't have to ship 7 15-cent cards. I just ship it to them and they do it for me. So you can see my price here. I've sold, that's $3,700 I sold in this one RI. And I had to pay shipping one time.
Wow. And they just would you start to pay a little higher fee, and that's how they get their money for shipping and all that.
Yes, that's how they compensate. Anything less than $3, they take 50% on, which is a lot. 50%. But
$3 per order, not per card.
Yes, right.
Okay.
But if you think about shipping, the time that takes you to ship, top loader, all that, all that stuff. It makes it worth it. It sounds really bad, 50%. Oh my god! But how much time I would have to pay somebody to do all that? I'd be doing that for all day.
Eli says the same stuff. I know he says the same stuff.
It's not for everybody. I'll say that right now. It's not for everybody. But if you want to sell the cheaper cards and have it in huge quantities, that's the way to do it. It's just like I said. I am so happy direct is a thing and it exists, and that TCG Player is committed to doing it, because for us it's a godsend, because I don't want to have to ship 15-cent cards. I don't want to have to. This is just, even if I only make $7 or 7 cents off that 15-cent card, I'm okay, because that's one more sale that I would not have had otherwise. So
and then when because I sell on TCG Player, so. When you go in and put those in, do you just make the listing like you normally would a listing?
I list it exactly the same way as you do.
So you still pick the price you wanted at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's again, it's not for everybody. A lot of people, it can't make it work. It doesn't make sense for them to do it. But if you have like over like 5,000 cards listed, it starts to make sense. That's if you want to move stuff, that's a lot of time to start shipping that kind of stuff, that kind of volume. So
Yeah.
Yeah, when you have like 100,000 cards, why would you not be on direct? That's so silly. It just doesn't make sense.
No,
Yeah.
I mean you're kind of you're doing a good job selling it. That's for sure. TCG players should pay you.
Look, they pay me plenty. I'm doing okay. I sell well enough on there, and it's like I said, it's a win-win. Buyers get their stuff, in a couple days, and it's all on one shipment, and I sell cards that I wouldn't otherwise. So it's good.
And then you ship the cards after where they sell, right?
Right. That's the thing. That like it's based off of your inventory that you have listed, but then you ship those cards and replenish their stuff basically. So they have a stock that they have at the warehouse at TCG Player. They ship the card on your behalf, and then you reimburse them.
Hypothetically, you don't have the card. What happens?
They charge you the difference for the next person in line on direct. Because there'll be things that they buy cards from to replenish their stock from me. And I may not be the cheapest on direct, but they're going to buy it because the first person in line didn't have it.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like every once in a while, they'll have a TCG player order that I get from them to replenish their stock. It's kind of funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's really crazy. Yeah. So that's really so the TCG Player Direct sounds like that's kind of the bread and butter of your business these days.
Yeah, I mean it's what makes all this bulk worth having.
Yeah,
it would not.
And now, what do you think? Is it primarily Magic bulk? Is Pokemon do very well? Like Yu-Gi-Oh? What's the best?
Pokemon does okay. But yeah, Magic is definitely where a vast majority of the volume comes from for direct.
Is Yu-Gi-Oh any good, or do you mess with Yu-Gi-Oh much?
We do, yeah, and it sells on there, but it's we don't have the inventory amounts, I guess, to really see the benefit of it. Because the more you have, the more likely you're going to sell it through direct too. So if people want to buy an order from you, and you have all these card singles, it helps kind of replenish, and you get selected to be picked to buy that stuff.
So what do you like account that for? Is it just because Magic's just such a more player based hobby than Pokemon, and Pokemon's more collector based? I mean, when it comes to sealed product, is it the same thing? Do you sell more Pokemon than Magic?
No. Right now, it's kind of I don't know. For all the crap that Magic gets, the player base is just exponentially bigger. The people that want to buy those cheaper cards is exponentially bigger. And yeah, Magic Pokemon has done very, very well in building the player base, and there's more players than ever for Pokemon. But yeah, it's just still the singles rate and the card sell through rate is just nowhere near what There's bulk cards in Paradox Rift, the newest set for Pokemon, that I could list and I'd never sell. I just wouldn't.
So is the doom and gloom, like with the Rudies and stuff and all the Magic investing channels, is that not really hurt the game player, the selling of the singles? I mean, are you not seeing really much of a change in what you do?
I mean, it does. It affects us because, we talked about game pieces, right? Game pieces, the price for game pieces. There's cards that I have in my inventory that 3 years ago would have been a $50 card, where it is like a $10 card now. Now you can argue if that's a good or bad thing. Would I rather sell that card 5 times for $10 or sell that one time for $50? It's the same kind of principle, right? Yes, the people that have the throughput and the volume to do that kind of sales, it's better. It's better to sell those things because I'm going to sell 5 of those cards, 5 $10 cards, faster than I would a $50 card. In theory, right? Like, hopefully, as price goes down, tends to be more buyers for something. So it becomes more accessible for people that way. And that's really what it comes down to with Magic. And there's as we get so many cards, the bloat of Magic, there's Magic sets that have like 350 cards. Pokemon gets huge sets, but Magic gets 450, 500 cards sometimes in these sets. It's crazy with all the variants and the borders and the edge, variants of things and the different prints and the cold foils, and it's crazy. But as that widens, and it makes less sense. And the buyer pool has so many more options and cheaper options for these cards that would otherwise be chase cards, right? So you really have to kind of lean on people wanting to whale out on decks and buy the highest rarity. And Magic being a player game, there's just not that many people that would rather do that. They just rather buy the cheaper card and say, fuck it, I'm going to buy a $5 version of this card when the highest one would be 25. And
were you into Magic as a kid, or were you
No. I Magic is a great game. Magic is, for all the cards that exist, Magic is the most complicated game that exists. The amount of card interactions and crazy things that can happen in Magic is, and the way that they stack and they interact with each other that way, it's very, very complicated. I'm not to say that to like turn people off, but there's a lot to it. Like compared to Pokemon is like, it's a very like chess to checkers kind of thing.
Right.
It's way more simple. But yeah, Magic's great.
So how did you just kind of just learn as you own the game store? Did how'd you become so knowledgeable about like Magic and things like that?
Definitely, like I would say I'm not from a player stance, I don't know what the hell's going on most of the time. But you learn what sells. Obviously the price kind of dictates what's a good card, right? Kind of like in Pokemon too. It's kind of the same kind of thing. If a trainer is randomly $3, right, it's gotta be a good card, or else it wouldn't be that way, right? So you kind of learn through like sell through and stuff like that, which cards are good and bad. So a lot of it's from that, but I have played Magic a couple of times enough to know that, like, damn, this game's good. This is a good fucking game. And I can see where, if Rudy is very right. If Magic stopped printing cards today and Magic ceased to exist and they never made another set, people would be still playing Magic 20 years from now. It's just that good. It's just that good of a game.
That's crazy to hear. Yeah, that's one of the games I never really got into. I mean, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh were nostalgic childhood stuff. I know enough about those to play.
There's so many different mechanics and different ways to play and different styles of playing. It's super good.
That's crazy. Man, it's been a good talk, man. I appreciate you coming on.
And that's a silly thing. I know so much about all TCGs that I could just talk forever and I can just vomit words, and it's semi-entertaining. Hopefully people out there, you enjoyed it or you got something out of it. Hopefully a little bit.
Well, it's really interesting because there's not a ton of people who have physical game stores in this whole YouTube space. A lot of people online sell or full-time, whatever in whatever aspect in Pokemon, but not a lot of us own actual stores. So it's just, I always like to hear what's going on. Cause it's always in the back of my mind, it's always that pipe dream, like be cool to be able to do it one day.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of charm and it's a lot of alluring. Like it's a lot of fun. Right. But again, it's a lot of work and because it's fun and because people enjoy it so much and want to do and have fun in their hobby and they want to make, money off of it too. Everybody's trying to get into it and everybody's trying to sell stuff and buy stuff all the time and, make money and that's okay. That's part of the charm of these things. But yeah, to make a living off of it is way different than just making some extra cash. It's so night and day, the difference and the amount of work and the amount of people already in the space. Not just me. There's people that are way bigger than me, have millions of cards in inventory on TCG Player. It's those guys. They're doing it faster. They're doing it better. They're doing it cheaper. They're doing it so many more ways. They're doing it way better than you already. It's very hard to make it.
But you're obviously competing. So you're making a living. You're selling cards.
Yeah, there is a competitive nature to it, but there's not really. Like I don't know if you know like Rob from RNG Games. Have you ever watched his channel?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's another guy. Like I talked to him not a lot, but we talk back and forth about, hey, this set's really ass or something, stuff like that back and forth. It's just like, it's like, yeah, man, yeah. We talk and he's shared a lot of information with me, and obviously he's watched my channel and kind of got stuff from me too. So it's I'm not it's not cutthroat. It's just it's a living. It's like any job, and you talk back and forth with people that you want to see succeed too. So that's part of it.
Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate it, dude. Thanks for taking the time tonight. 2.5 hour stream. That's pretty crazy.
Is it?
What?
That's pretty low for some of
Is
these
it?
things. You know, when I was on basics, I mean, I was there forever, but yeah.
Oh yeah, how long were you there that night?
Oh, I was in and out a couple times, but it probably wasn't that long. Probably like an hour and a half each time. So
That was a good time. I mean, it seemed like a lot of people did end up showing up, bro.
yeah, it's fun. Like it's always a good time.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool that you did that. Well, you got anything left to say before we leave everyone? Guys, and I appreciate each and every one of you showed up, all the questions you asked.
I
Hopefully
wasn't watching like the numbers or how many viewers we had, or I don't know what people are.
Man, we were up to like 150s, 160s for a while.
What?
Yeah.
Damn. Jeez.
People want to hear about card shops.
Hey man. Who knew?
They're definitely not here for me.
But no, I appreciate you, Alex, having me on. Obviously, you know, we have fun going back and forth, or you know, but we all enjoy the hobby. We're all here for fun, right? And we obviously, if I wouldn't be here at 11 o'clock at night talking about it if I didn't enjoy it still. So
right,
it's part of the fun of it, for sure.
Well, guys, I'll leave Mason's channel. If you guys don't know who he is or have his channel, I'll leave his link in the description. Make sure to check out CardNAllGaming on YouTube.
Yes.
I got his site, CardNAllGaming.com, right?
Yeah, yep. That's us.
And
feel free to check it out and check out the channel. Leave a mean comment on one of the videos so I know that you came from Alex. I say that he sent you there. Appreciate it. And yeah.
And we'll call it there. All right, guys, we're out.